Hey Greg, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I hear you.
All right. Nice, this is cool. Greg, I'm gonna mute myself here until I call it order.
All right.
At 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm in bed. I'm ready to go to sleep, but I can't sleep because my mind is still going. My phone is still ringing.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Board, everybody good to start?
Going, yeah.
Okay. I call to order the regular meeting for the Board of Supervisors for Solterra Resort Community Development Districts. Today is August 1st, approximately 10:01 a.m.
Bottom line, I'm here.
Take roll call.
The grace of God.
We have members of the board, Brian,
Here,
Mert.
yeah, here.
Bear with me with the last names,
Yeah,
please.
it's fine.
I will get it by the 30th.
Do your best.
We have Deborah Hyman,
And then
I am, yes.
Hyam,
I'm Hyam.
Hyam, present. Bobby Boissard. Present. Sam Neelam. Saman Neelam, apologies, thank you. And Karen
Winker.
Winker. All right. And then your district staff, you have Joe Bullens, Brian Mendez representing, Rosetta. We have, Meredith Hammock with district council and Greg Woodcock on the call. And then we do have members of the audience. Before we turn over to public audience comments, one of our supervisors has some comments.
Hey, good morning. This is basically, I want to make a few remarks about the model of communication between the management company and the attorney as well as board. Okay, so these are the observations that I had last, this is the third time I'm here. I'm relatively new here, agreed, but in my observations, I kind of find it the road clarity, number one point. What do I mean by road clarity means? When I started inquiring about because Meredith keep on bringing these points of sunshine laws. I'm just letting you know, this is my third board. I'm working. All in Florida. I'm not expert, I'm not an attorney, but I do have a lot of familiarity with sunshine laws. Whenever you bring it up the sunshine laws, you're pretty much constraining our communication between the supervisors. I'll give you the best example. When I asked you guys, hey, what is about sunshine laws and all these things, your office sent me a big load of information, which I kind of here on July 17th, with my oath information log, right? But I took the oath in the month of May. What I found was, when I'm asking about the certain specific questions related to sunshine laws, especially about the website, and the previous management company sent an email to you guys, were CC'd in that, probably that triggered you guys, and then you guys sent me on July 17th, the vote information which I took it in the May month. So that seems to me a little bit weird. Okay, next time don't do that. You don't need to answer that. Okay? Don't do that.
What,
Yeah,
he said
that.
the information just came 2 months late?
Yeah, absolutely.
New supervisor information packet that supervisors tend to receive. It's mostly duplicative of the information supervisors receive from management. We sent it out to the supervisors that.
And I would also say, Sam, man, we went through some big changes in the last 3 months that were not normal in a while with, management companies. So I would imagine that there's been a lot of other projects that were taking precedence, but please continue on.
No, that's nothing to do. See, simple question, where it is all triggered was, I'm inquiring about the website, CDD website. So basically, Solterra CDD is for the Solterra community, and we are basically kind of managing the community's activities as a board members. And you guys are only to provide us the guidance, we have any questions. There's a clear distinction. You guys work for the board and as well as the community, not with the board. That distinction has to be clearly laid out. So I don't want you guys to intervene when we were kind of doing certain things like bringing the sunshine law, because previously some of the questions were completely irrelevant. We got 3 different examples. I went and dig it through, it has no bearing what we were doing. The chairman Brian is very kind. In fact, he was like very sensitive to those things. When he is interviewing, even though it is publicly noticed for one of the management company, when I logged in, he literally said like, no, you and I can't be in the same board, please, even though it is publicly notified. I respected that, and then I logged out because I don't want to, regarding to your suggestion. So, as per I just wanted to be very clear that as long as it is publicly notified, me as a community members, I can log in. Just to let you know, clients.
So real quick, can you clarify that?
Published notice in a newspaper of general circulation in the county or area which the site is located. This board did authorize use of the electronic notification system via Spoke County online newspaper, which was also nothing. Field halls are advertised as workshops at the board so that all board members can attend. And they're run like workshops, even though we are calling them town halls, so that everything remains above board and all supervisors can participate.
That's right. And in this specific scenario, this was with a vendor that was gonna be proposing. And so I did Zoom calls with them, asked them questions, recorded it, and then distributed it to the community.
Yeah, but you also notified before that.
Only in the WhatsApp group, not via the official channels. So I went to homeowners saying, if you want to listen in, you can. I asked them questions that they were gonna be asking the board to answer.
Yeah, we can listen it, obviously. We are not really doing.
Well, we can't.
To actually dial into the calls and that the recordings would be posted for us to listen to at a later time.
And when I posted,
But what happens with that model is only you are interviewing, but we were basically like everyone else kind of on time, set aside. In this forum, I know that that question comes they'll be here, but in this, we have very constricted time to ask any specific question. Basically, I have bunch of questions I wanted to interview, but here, what happened was, hold on. Here, I know, enthusiasm, let me finish. Here, what happened was, when in a very constrained environment, we can't really ask a lot of questions. And also, last time there is a question came oh, are you in cahoots with someone? No, because those kind of questions raises up, it has to be noted before, especially to the chair, hey, Sumant owns some company, I mean, probably he might have some illegal things going on, which is absolutely right. It should go into the agenda in a specific way that needs to be addressed. But anyway, coming back to these questions about interviewing is, I understand you asked very relevant questions, fantastic job. It came out really good. However, if we are on a few other people, as a community member, not a supervisor, I'm not talking as a supervisor, community member, they will have some questions because after the recording comes, it's already past tense. And here, in the 3 or 4 people are there, we have to finish at 1 o'clock. Last time I went to 2 or 3 o'clock. But this becomes a more here, it doesn't really fly very well to ask a lot of questions here. That's why I think that maybe the model needs to be kind of refined a little bit in the future contracts and say, community members also have the opportunity to ask some questions to the people. Because already, I don't know what happened behind the scenes with your law firm, because you only got as 3 people and the management company for the Rizeta, Infomart and Artemis is not qualified even. And you guys said that none of them for Providence or Union, no one is interested. I don't know what happened. I think I really would like to see how you guys communicated, where you posted, and what transferred between all those things, contracts, and why no one is interested. You work with Solterra. I want to know all those details. You asked me last time. I don't think we got the information. So please do share with chair and also with other supervisors. So we get the chance to see how you guys posted, where you posted, what is the outcome of that, what is the traction of all those things. Okay, so that is really necessary to bring the transparency, because it is only board members' transparency. Also, the management, the law firm, whoever is working with us, because it's a community. It belongs to the community. Everything. No one is kind of okay. You can't say that you guys can't really talk at the same time. You don't have no transparency. Okay, I need to know those details as well. So coming back to Vijay, once again, the same applies to Vijay. Guys, you guys working for the community and to the board. Okay, so when I sent an email, someone, Nasim, I'm sorry, we checked his name, my apologies. We received this email, what was this one? I think 27. I would like to add the agenda, brief remarks, blah, blah, blah. So I responded back to this gentleman, whoever it is, no response. And I waited for 3 days, giving you guys a little bit of a breathing room.
This was sent to
What were
Brian.
they-
It's sent on
August one.
the 25th, sorry, 25th.
Do you know that our CDD
So, and no,
email addresses have been uploaded, but.
absolutely. And one more thing, when someone sent
They
this
probably
email,
have got it.
when someone sent this email, they put it to everybody. Okay, so it should be CC, not the two. So whoever that sent this, they need to rectify this problem next time. Because what happened, I know you guys put a red bold level here underneath, don't reply to all, but you guys are putting in the two, all the email.
Sure.
So someone has to manually delete all the emails when you're responding back. You email them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so make sure that this won't happen again.
So, just, cause we're new, we're getting to know each other. What you're seeing there is a standard, email that goes out 7 days, before your board meeting. It generally doesn't, get a response. It's just notice, hey, the agenda's been posted and it has a little chart that you can confirm your quorum. Apologies, I will communicate with the coordinator. I don't know what the response was.
Real
but-
quick, Meredith, do you have a recommendation on that? When they send out a notice, it goes to everyone. Should the board be in the 2 line, to the CC line, in the BCC line?
When I send email blast to the board as a whole, I generally in the 2 line have the manager for public retention purposes, myself and Savannah, so that I can ensure it actually delivers, and then in the BCC line.
That way, if I click reply, thank you, I haven't broken a law.
Right.
Okay, beautiful. So BCC moving forward.
Great point. Yeah, there you go.
There's a reference, Brian, if you want.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Anything else, Sam?
That's about it pretty much.
Okay, well, real quick, can I talk on the board meeting? The 5 of us make all the decisions. So all the companies that we vote on for amenity or district management will come in and propose to us. We hear them, we go for it. The community isn't always able to be here and to help weigh in, and they don't know what's gonna be said to be able to say we like that or we don't. That's the reason why we started to have the Zoom calls before, to where the vendors could talk, it could be recorded, homeowners could watch, and then on the call, they're always encouraged. When I put out the notice, I always say no CDD members by law can attend this, because there can only be one of us there, because it's not an official meeting. And then number 2, I always encourage every homeowner, if you have any thoughts or concerns, to email your board, so that way there was communication before. It's not meant to be a part of the perfection of structure. There was just a lot of homeowners saying there isn't transparency about what the board is doing. And this was just a step back to try to get ahead of that. Nothing more. It's not an official part or something that's there. It was just extra time that I spent to try to make sure homeowners were allowed to be a part of, hey, I have a thought or concern I want to
Sure, the
share.
bond was very fantastic.
Okay.
I really appreciate you brought a lot of confidence. I kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
very impressed with that.
And, as a supervisor, any of us could reach out to a vendor that submitted a proposal and have our own individual conversation and ask any of those questions.
So long as we're not in a sealed bid situation where there's the code of silence in place, but always discuss that with the boards before.
We're talking about the topic, I have one question.
Go for it.
So in the previous board meeting, we voted 4-0 to approve $4,000 cap to get security equipment. And district management has put a pause on that, and we've been unable to get that equipment. And that was a board vote that should not have to stop.
Yeah, sorry, Bobby. It's been such a quick transition that, I just got to meet with Brian and Joe this week. They disclosed some of, the parking challenges, and I actually have a background in hospitality. I did valley operations and parking management for quite some time. I was going to get with you for a meeting next week.
Oh, right, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun on you.
No,
That's
that's
great.
okay.
But he was asking the $4,000 approval, is that the credit card?
And
issue?
that is on me. I did pause it. I wanted to see if we could meet with this vendor to kind
Okay.
of go over what they could propose. And then if you, either or, if you felt like, hey, let's go in this direction, or let's purchase our equipment, that we could move in that
Oh,
direction.
yeah.
It's just been so quick.
Yeah. May I just?
Bobby's ready to start spending.
Here, because we, you know, we vote on these things.
Sure, sure.
And usually when we vote on
I
something,
saw him like in every night.
excuse me, usually when we vote on something for, you know, with a cap, it's because there's an urgent and pressing matter.
Sure.
So for you to just unilaterally put a pause on that without reaching out to the supervisor who's trying to implement that emergency cap situation and then not reach out to them and not follow through with it. I think that maybe since we as a board have voted on that, and clearly for a reason, that you would, if you don't have time to do it, that you're gonna have to take that leap of faith in us as a board and just let it run and let it play out and address it when you do have time, or address it with the board members, so there's no embarrassment, there's no spinning of wheels, there's no wasting time, no delays, all of this kind of thing. Because just to unilaterally say, we're pausing it, and then there's Bobby trying to solve an immediate issue, and he's just being told it's been paused. And I mean, and for me, and I do understand you're in a transitional phase and things like that, but I know that Joe has sent out some emails. If Joe hadn't sent me the agenda last night, and I didn't have time last night to review the agenda, but I had no time. And I wouldn't have gotten it at all. And I know that he sent you a couple of emails asking to have me added. I have no emails. So I'd like to get that up and running.
And that is, Rosetta's working through that. Our IT, director has been reaching out to your prior management company. Unfortunately, they still haven't transferred that. We're sending multiple communications, Taylor's involved. So we're trying to work through that. Just for the board's knowledge, the agenda is always posted on the website 7 days prior if you ever need to access it. And then this transition really, it's not an excuse, but it's been so quick and we've had to digest the budget, which I know is priority. So I didn't know what was in the past or what was approved. I was hoping to come to the board and get some clarity, kind of get a understanding of where we're at, what we're working on. So I will work with Bobby, and if we need to approve this ASAP, we will approve it. I didn't mean any offense to I didn't know where we were at.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
So Brian, I understand it was like a week turnaround time, which
Yeah.
is pretty unprecedented and unheard of. So we appreciate you all kind of, doing your best to have us all be here today. But just know that if we've voted on something like that, we beat this dead horse to
Sure.
death.
Yeah, and I didn't know they
Over and over and
So
over.
definitely that does help, but understood, I will follow up on this.
And I have no actual schedule, so I'm available 24/7. If you call me at 1 in the morning, 7 in the morning, whenever, I'm pretty much available at all times.
I got you right now.
Yeah, it's an important issue, so the sooner that you can chat with Bobby about that, the better. Trying to get that resolved.
One more question about things like emails and that kind of thing. I understand that Vesta is kind of holding onto this data and this information for you, but just for the flow of communications, is it possible for you guys to just set up new emails for us and then transfer the data over when you get the old data from Vesta? So we're not just sitting here blind mice in the dark until Vesta snaps to, because they may not.
My understanding is it's a transfer of domains that comes with everything, to bring all your emails, but to your point, is there a way where we could just create some quick emails?
Yeah.
Of course there
Yeah,
is.
just so we have a way to communicate, a way to share the
Sure.
screenshots of communications that we have that, on social media or whatever, or with other people that people.
Public information disclosures.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, exactly. Just so that there's some way, and that, a month from now, we're not trying to scramble and go back and figure out, oh, who, what, where, when,
Sure, sure. Totally get it. I got a couple emails this morning. I know they're working on it, so I will figure out where we're at by end of day, and I gotta create some Gmails.
One more question. Is it possible, Brian, if you could sit there so we could look?
Yeah, yeah.
Because everyone's
It was the
leaning out.
computer.
Yeah.
Oh, is it a computer shoot? I just think that would be it.
One quick, one there.
For who? For,
Yeah, Brian, what is it?
oh, okay, yeah. Thanks, Brian. What do you need? You can take
I
this.
don't know if the owls.
About the left side,
You pull it underneath.
you were aware of it, right? I've been asking,
You can take it over with you.
The
Yeah.
previous, just from the.
The district's Solterra Resort at CDD. Yes, that's hosted by School Status.
Yeah.
It's the vendor that hosts your website.
Yes. The crux of the issue is, you don't go to the surface every time a new management company comes. That's the reason I clearly asked the best time. Transfer the domain details to chair. The supervisor, the single board chair. They can have credentials for the host here. For the email, I understand. For the emails, they can set the passwords and all those things. I understand that. When it comes to the hosting details, it's a property of the folder in the CDD, and it has to stay with the CDD. There's no question whatsoever. We don't need to go to the circus of like, who is holding it? Why did they transfer? If it is with the CDD, supervisor, the super chair. The chair can send it there. But the new management company, keep it go. So it has to be transferred. And go to the CDD chair, and the CDD chair can have hosting details, and then the chair can delegate to whoever that you feel like delegating it. That's it, it's free.
There were requests for it. I think a lot of them are.
And
Yeah,
Carolyn
Bill.
addressed this with Barry at last month's meeting, and then just continue to confirm that that's needed to be gone. So, I mean,
So, madam, please make sure that the hosting details should be in the chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, we're about to open up for public comments. Any public comments, anything on the agenda you'd like to bring to the board's attention? Hearing none, okay. Gonna move past, no comments, bear with me.
Is there anyone on?
Online, yeah.
Oh, apologies, I didn't know we had online attendance. Anybody online have any public comments? Got a hand raised from Devin. Devin, do you have some audio?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I do. Am I good? You can hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Just need
so,
your name and address when you get a chance.
yeah, Devin Oster, 5404 Solterra Circle. And I just want to mention about something that Sam had brought up about the town halls. And I just want to tell you that the town halls that Brian does, are extremely helpful for the community, extremely helpful for those that can't sit here for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours on a Friday once a month. It gives everybody in the community an opportunity to ask questions. And I really hope that those continue. I think everybody really appreciates the time that Brian puts in, and it's a really great opportunity for people to weigh in a little bit, because not everybody has the opportunity to do that. So please keep those if you can.
Appreciate those comments.
this is such a large short-term rental community, and that the number of people that actually live here are very, very small, and most of our owners are absentee owners from all around the globe, and so we will often get more attendance online than we will actually get in the audience when you kind of overlook vendor attendance.
Yeah, no, totally get it. I will, by 3 meetings in, I will be humming. Trust me, I will.
Yeah.
It's just also as an add-on, I know that, for a few months there was, a lot of free rein given in terms of, WhatsApp conversations and things like that in town halls. And we literally saw this community come alive with participation and interest and engagement. And having previously been on this board, I was just over the moon about it. And the initiatives that Brian has taken in terms of moving the ball forward with communications with the community. I have not seen anything that was more impactful on our community than those town halls or the conversations, that he was opening up the community to participate in. So I think that needs to continue. In any way, shape, or form that we can do it, the more we can do it, the better. Not having to wait until 1 month and then 1 month goes by in order to get information out to our constituents, as it were, our stakeholders. I mean, it's an imperative. So whatever it is that we have to do with heaven and earth to keep that going, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be working on the advertisings to ensure if multiple board members would like to be present at the workshop, they would be able to. Yeah. All right. Any other public comments on the call today? Anybody? All right. Hearing none. All right, board, we're going to move on to staff reports. You have your district engineer. Greg, what do you got for us?
Good morning. Were you able to hand out the district engineering change order? Yes, sir. Okay.
Board members, on your left, you have a under separate cover exhibit from the district engineer, a change order. They're taking it out right now, Greg.
Very good. We've talked about this the last couple of months, that we were getting close to our engineering budget for this fiscal year, which was $25,000. We are currently over that budget by a little bit. What we're recommending is an additional $8,000, totaling $33,000 to get us through the remainder of the fiscal year. There again, if we don't expend the time, then we don't bill the district for that, and it goes back into your operating budget. But right now, we're at our limit and cannot invoice the district until we have a change order approved.
So if we don't spend this next year, are we still being billed it?
Yeah, so if we only use $4,000 the remainder of this fiscal year, which is to October 1st, that's all we would invoice you for.
I think that this further illustrates the need to get him on the call first and then turn him loose so that we're not incurring additional expenses for him to be sitting there doing whatever he does while he's waiting for us.
Right.
I agree.
So the question right now, we've got to make a decision on is, do we want to approve it, or do we want to be more efficient and say we're gonna hold under the 25 for the next year? We have a yes or no vote on this, is that correct? Or decision to make?
Greg, this is Meredith. Please correct me if I'm misinterpreting. I'm just taking a look at this. The request is to approve a change order in the not to exceed amount of $8,000, which would make the total contract value or potential contract value for the engineering firm for fiscal year 25, which we're currently in, $33,000.
That's correct.
And if,
For this.
so it would be an approval of not to exceed $8,000 for the remainder of this fiscal year for service, September 30th.
It's 2 months.
Yes.
You spend the whole $25,000. Haven't built anything there.
Yeah. Great, this was just referencing things like front gate, back gate, cell phone towers, and then being on our Zoom calls for 4 hours before we could move in.
Yes, sir. The other thing that we did is we met with the county and went over the entrance stuff. We prepared some exhibits related to that I think was unforeseen when we originally did this budget as well.
Could we be in the middle and do a change order for 4,000 just to get it flagged. I don't think we're gonna be doing much in the next 2 months.
You can, you can, it just, the reason why we did 8,000 is because if something comes up and we have to utilize that over that 4,000, then we got to prepare another change order, bring it to the board before we can invoice you again.
Can we
But
wait
that's a,
fiscal year and then approve whatever the amount is at that time?
yeah, the problem is now we can't invoice you for the next 2 months because we are currently at budget and need a change order to be able to invoice you.
How much over are we right now today?
I think it's right at 1,200.
It is a not to exceed amount, so even though you would be approving 8,000, it's not necessarily you're gonna get billed for 8,000. It just gives you the wiggle room to utilize that up.
And when we look at the budget for this year, if we go to the next budget, we're gonna see $33,000 and then budget based on that.
I think there's Bob's. He was like, where has this gone? Has any of the boards seen any of the invoices?
Nope, I am not, and I haven't received any of the documentation I requested from the front gate either. By email.
So I got, who, I don't know which board member would be responsible for getting these invoices. Would be either Bob or Sam. I think, Jimmy, do you want to handle it or do you want me to handle it?
Where is it? District engineer.
Yeah, we could provide, so it's pretty standard that board members would like to see invoices before the meeting. So when we send out your final agenda in the email, that email that Sam was referring to, we could include all invoices for those monthly charges.
Yeah,
So it sounds like that's something we want.
I mean, they can come to me.
Okay,
I just would like to see them. See when you send them over, just add my CDD email on them, so I can just have a reference, but I think to Bobby's point, none of us are aware of what's coming in, and if there's a problem, and we got the 26,000, and
Right.
like, man, what, if we saw that the amount we're paying for each Zoom call for things to wait 4 hours before you get to jump on, I think if we see that amount, we probably be like, okay, let's switch that up and keep that money working for us. As opposed to just someone hanging out. So that's what I'm saying, and I don't know if the middle ground.
I find it interesting that our 2023 actual was $570, and then for 2024, we went all the way up to $3,370.
Yeah, great.
What we got for
Why
that.
was there a big jump between 2023 and 2024? Is that just us exploring options? Because again, to Bobby's comment, we haven't built anything or done anything.
Yeah,
No, besides, I guess,
parking.
the tennis courts got updated and the volleyball courts got updated. So there were two things.
Yeah, I believe it was that, and we were also attending meetings. And the other thing that we can do, I mean, if the board would like us to, for the next 2 months, to be kind of on an emergency basis, if something comes up that we have to react to, we can. Otherwise, we can hang tight and try not to spend any money, expend any money for the next 2 months. It's 100% a board decision there. We work for the board, so we really only do things when the board requests that we do things out there, and so it's 100% a board decision what you would like to do. But we're okay with any way that the board would like to direct us.
Is there any more work that you would need to do on the cell phone tower project?
No. Currently, the cell phone tower, I believe that they're looking at getting agreements in place is the first thing that needs to be done. Once the agreements are in place, I don't believe then they do their due diligence. I don't believe that it's going to be on the CDD to do that work.
I mean, what do you guys think, like 3,000-4,000 approved to be able to finish up the invoices now and you'll be stay live for the rest of the year? Yeah, I think that 4,000. What do you think? $400. 1,200?
No. Over $1,800.
We're over 1,200 currently, yes.
I think, probably I can. It's like pay the other, stay like.
But that, and that would give us a cat meeting. If anything comes up in 2 months, we have no ability to work with any emergencies or anything.
No, they'll have to fill out.
But it, so that just gets us to where he's done today and we can come back in 2 months. So. I think. Yeah, that's what yeah, go ahead, Greg.
And we're willing to work with the board. Like if you were to approve $2,500 or something like that, and something came up, we're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to jump out there and look at it, even though we may not be able to bill you for a couple months. That way as well. So we would never just leave you hanging and say, you know, we don't have any money in the bucket, so we can't go out there. So we're willing to work with you on that as well.
Okay, so I want to approve change order 2025-1, not to exceed $3,000.
Okay,
3,000, that's great.
I think
do I have a second? Second from Sam?
And Greg, yeah, let's just stay light for the next 2 months. We'll figure out.
Take a vote. All in favor? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, Greg, so you have a not to exceed of 3,000. I'll just need a revised change order when you get a chance.
Yes, sir. And I did have it in Vesta's name as well, so I'll change that to you, Brian.
Thank you. Okay. All right, wonderful. Not to exceed, bear with me.
Appreciate your help. Everything's more than
All right. Anything else, Greg?
That's all I've got.
All right. Board, anything else for your district engineer? Not at this time. Okay. All right. District council.
I do not have a specific report for the board. I'm happy to answer questions on agenda items as they arise. I did speak about workshops earlier. The board's familiar with how workshops are run legally to the benefit of the board and the community. Again, happy to answer any questions.
How is the board doing? Yeah, with the year.
Your 4 hours of ethics training?
Yeah. We have that like a document, we can see where we're at, and if we've done it. Yeah.
It is up to each individual supervisor to keep track of their own training. And then to ethically report that they've completed that training when you file your Form 1 next year with the state.
January 1.
It's due by July 1st, but yes, I'd love it if next year you would fill out and submit the Form 1 by beginning of January. It would.
That would have us clear for the whole year.
Exactly. Yes, the sooner the better for as soon as the calendar year rolls over.
Yeah, it's possible to send everyone emails in with the training we need to do. And then, we don't need that.
As
Yeah.
soon as that gets worked out. I believe you emailed me though, and I have it saved in our records, an email confirmation from you that you've completed
It's an
training. And last year we did host a 4-hour training workshop for the board. I'm not sure if we still have the audio recording from that, but I can see if it's in the district's records. And if you want to listen to me speak for 4 hours again, you could also listen to that if you'd like.
You do whatever options there, we can go through it and self-report. If you, when you email for if you send it back to us.
Yep.
And we solve it for January 1, have it done by.
You have to be done with the training by December 31st of this year,
This year.
Okay.
because it's a calendar year of 4 hours. And then you report it on your Form 1 next calendar year, because your Form 1 is like your taxes, you're reporting prior year.
They're just like it's maybe throw a calendar inviting reminder.
I can do that.
I have it in my notes too. I'll put it in my summary report. Anything for district council board? Hearing none. Okay. District manager, also no formal report, just working through our transitions, been diving into the budget, learning the operation, meeting with your vendors, going to be working with Joe very closely. Very excited to be here. Looking forward to, bringing things up to where they need to be. Anything for me, board, in the intro?
Real quick, I just like to say, I met with Brian, a couple days ago, we chatted a bit. He'll be working with each of the board members on the areas you guys work on. Feel free to have conversations with him, and smooth out anything that's there with either vendors or, those type of conversations. Let them know that we have liaison positions and everyone's pretty active, in overseeing the areas. So he's on it. We've got direct line of communication with him.
Yep. And I love working with board liaisons, so I would definitely be landscaping, facilities, guardhouse operations, so. Looking forward to it. Thank you. All right. Moving on to your community. Sorry. Typically, it's the district manager, in conjunction with the chair, from my experience. But I'm open to any format that we would like to adopt. If,
So when, that's fine, like, obviously checking the details here, but before it's finalized, is it possible for other supervisors to pitch in? Any areas to include or anything, one thing to pitch?
What's the schedule that you send it out before, and then the minimum, we have to get it out X number of days before the event finalized? What can we clarify that?
yeah, great question. So Rosetta, we sent out a tentative agenda 14 days prior. So a sunshine law, we have to post the agenda 7 days within the meeting. So the tentative is a perfect opportunity where you will get it 14 days ahead. You'll just see the agenda page that we have out for some residents. And then you'll see the things that we're supposed to be discussing. So you can make comments and say, hey, I would like to add this, or hey, we already talked about this, or we're not ready to talk about this. And then we could revise the tentative agenda so that by the time the final agenda is due, we could go ahead and send it out.
I know this is that, so that's a great, so it's a really, adding that, like, the last meeting.
Yeah,
And in the past, when I was saying, when I had issues I wanted to discuss, I would send them in, they would include it in the packet, and then all the other board members could hear what I was gonna come to say, hey, there's a problem we need to address, kind of like we did this morning, but we would have that, for the meeting, so yeah. So 14 days out is what we've got instead of 7 days instead of issues. Thank you, yeah.
I'm just making some quick notes, board, bear with me.
Thanks, Brian.
Tentative agendas. Review, very good. All right, anything else for me, board? Hearing none, okay. Jump into community updates, general manager updates. Joe, anything for the board?
Yeah, so good morning supervisors. So, once we get through a couple of the items, feel free to help me with any questions that you have about operations and what we're doing. District management, if you'll help me on this one. So the first part, consideration of cabinet management services. We have a certain order. We received 3 RFPs and then 1, commitment, to a current existing contract. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay procedurally, is I'd like to have Real Manage speak to you first, because they did an amendment, not a full RFP.
Right.
We can have all the, companies that are RFP step out, we can have a conversation back and forth with Real Manage, and then we'll go in the procedural order in terms of bringing everybody and letting them pitch to you. That's okay.
Good, yeah, good with that.
Perfect. So if everybody moving mind said anything else, I think we have Chris from Real Manage here.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. We got the budget meeting a couple months ago. I was actually out here, patio, spending time with the team. So, as shared by Joe, thank you so much, Joe. Now I understand why I haven't received any email responses, so I did reach out to you, able to join it with that. So it's great. We've had made some changes. As you know, we've been managing this property for some time now. So we provided you with an opportunity to look at and revise it. Currently right now, to have some new team members who have joined the team, looking to continue to provide you good experience as well as talk. So we're all focusing on those 2 areas. We understand that you have a great opportunity out there. I'm actually excited for you to have all these things here. I'm excited to hear about the change artists. I don't, commend you on the change that you have to go through right now. Blame anybody for that. So, but if we can provide any answers or questions, please let me know. Really right now, we are just excited to be a part of it. So, as you can tell, from Luke, who was on the team, is no longer on the team. We do wish her the best and excited for her opportunity as well. Doesn't mean that we still can't strive, but generally we have a relationship with her, relationships with her. And she's been here for quite some time, servicing the community. She did a great job. that, you know, I don't make any, take comments towards that. I think she did a great job when she was president and, for what she's passionate as a meeting.
I do have a question. Is there a reason we decided to give us an amendment, not actual RFP, like the request that everyone else was information actually we? So that
We received a very small window to provide Shamar. That communication was very limited. So that is the reason why.
How much of a limited time was that?
All of days,
I-
72 hours.
9 days or it's 3 days to be able to provide it? Is that, did everyone have 72 hours?
So they were, to that point, they were provided, because after the previous meeting, there was, I think, in terms of business days, been very limited, maybe 9-day period. And once it was asked whether we would want them to RFP and give them the opportunity to send it out to them immediately. So I would say it was certainly more than 72 hours. For that.
And the other vendors, did they have the same amount of time or were they given more time?
So the RFPs that went out as we got interest, so, you know, we basically, you know, gauged who was willing to actually bid, because again, it wasn't a short period of time. So everybody was given the RFP as they kind of gauged interest, and then in speaking with certain, you know, liaisons, it was said, hey, let's, you know, see if real management wants to come in and kind of speak to the changes that were made. So the RFP was then sent to them, the opportunity given for that, I believe, maybe conversations, you know, and then that between, Chris and the board.
I heard that, I'm still not sure. Did the other vendors get it several days before you?
Yes, the other vendors would have received it several days before, you know, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
So I have a question, because our revenue from you is predicated on what your revenue is from being out here. So, I wanted to know exactly what that revenue is. And, do you have any plans to, or any ideas of how you might enhance that revenue?
Yeah, so currently right now, based on the numbers that we just saw, we're about 100,000 year to date, when it comes to revenue, that's out of expenses. So I do.
Revenue, so you're talking about net,
Yes.
not revenue. Revenue is one thing, profit is something else. So, okay, but we're looking at revenue.
And what have we essentially received, about $9,000?
Eight.
Okay,
Paid within your first quarter, on your 6% profit share that was negotiated.
so we got 6%, so the amendment is to amend it from 6% to 15%, is that what I'm understanding?
And to clarify, it's going from 6% of revenue to 15% of revenue, not net.
Correct.
Okay, so my question to you is, and we've had $100,000 of revenue today, not net revenue, but revenue, not profit. No, revenue is not profit. Profit
You said,
Is the term.
So what is
Okay, because what I'm looking at here,
It's about 500.
what I'm looking at here, on this amendment to the lease agreement, says tenants shall make quarterly payments to landlord during the term of 15% of revenue from its operation of the cafe.
Yeah, is that profit?
Revenue is not profit.
I would allow me to confirm, but if I'm not mistaken, it is revenue.
Okay, so revenue has nothing to do with what your expenses are. So that is my question now, because they're two totally different numbers.
Understood.
So I want to know if our revenue right now, not our net $100,000.
That I have to confirm, I apologize, I don't have that.
but for Elsie, you said we think it's around 500,000 in revenue. At 50%, that would be 75,000. It would be paid back.
Correct. If that is the.
Yeah, it would be, and that would come off with just an expense in your operating expenses.
Correct.
Okay.
And to your point, if under the current terms of 6% off 500,000, we should have received $30,000 in profit sharing, which he's saying 8, so the math is
Well,
not
that's
happening,
more than
and I
one.
think they probably should have been a little bit more.
So that's fair. Oh, I'm supporting, yeah.
Okay, for,
I'm also slightly concerned that you're not referencing the current lease agreement. The amendment references an old terminated superseded lease agreement. The current lease agreement between the district and its Evergreen Eats Solterra LLC
Yep.
is dated April 1st, 2024. We had to vet the net profit sharing with bond counsel. This board is aware. Bond counsel did sign off on the 6% of net profits sharing. And the net profits is defined in the lease agreement. That is in addition to the $1,500 monthly lease payment owed to the district by the lessee. So there should be $1,500 in a lease payment coming in monthly and then quarterly with due dates in the lease, October 1, January 1, April 1, and July 1. 6% of tenants' net profit derived from operation of the cafe.
Okay,
So if you need a copy of the current, I'm happy to provide.
So it would be great to have a copy of the current agreement so that we can, and also what we've actually received. So we can have those things just to compare what it was. But if you need to amend this from 15% of revenue, because it also, this would supersede, the amendment supersedes the contract itself, the underlying contract, and if the underlying agreement states that we're getting a monthly stipend as well, that would just all go away, and this would just be 15% of revenue. But I think that there's some confusion in your board as to whether it's revenue or net profit. We need to know that so we can look at what the current agreement is, what we have actually received, and see if we've received what we were supposed to receive for the existing agreement, and then what based on current numbers, what we would be receiving going forward.
Yes, Supervisor Karen.
Yes, ma'am.
at the previous meeting, when we were doing RFP,
Mhm.
we had to vote to entertain a proposal that didn't meet the requirements of the RFP. This clearly does not meet the requirements of the RFP.
It is in the discretion of the board to entertain or not entertain a proposal that varies from the solicitation documents.
Well, I think that, at least for me, I would say it would depend on, it would depend on what else is going on. I mean, the only thing that I'm seeing here is something that said that you want to change the terms, but I'm not seeing anything in terms of, do you have any plans to enhance that?
We did.
Do you have any, I mean, I'm not seeing, you know, the fluff, the stuff that we
Yeah.
hear and
Well, you
everything
get-
stands up and goes, yay.
Yeah. I did share some emails regarding that, my security. Don't seem to have any else working. We have had made some changes, we've had some feedback provided from residents, as well as admin provided to the team. I know that it's not giving you that information right now, but that was shared previously. So I'll be happy to reshare it at some point. I'll share it with Joe, to share it with the board, however you'd like. I'm here, if we can clarify that, Meredith, I believe, thank you so much again for clarifying that for this.
So I don't know if I, you know, just speaking for myself, I would like to kind of get through this today. If we possibly
Yeah,
can.
sure.
So would it be possible, Joe, to just kind of quickly print out what it was that he sent? So we have some sort of an idea of what his overall proposals are and ideas are. And then while the other vendors are.
Yeah.
While the other vendors are making their proposals, we'll have that on the table as well, and we can circle back to you at the end. Because you kind of have you're at a disadvantage, number one, because you didn't have all the information. Number two, you didn't have everything going. And number three, you're the first one up.
Yeah.
That, this will be, do it on the chair, if you understand when you want to come back, because everybody else.
I have a question that I want to ask you since you were here and you weren't at the last meeting when we were given the news about Edwin coming in and Irma essentially being let go. And we were told that, that decision was based on reviews. What reviews are we referring to?
So to clarify, she was not.
Well, I don't know the situation, but anyway, the decision was based on reviews. To bring in somebody else to support her based on reviews, and we're all interested in knowing what those reviews were.
That's not the case. So I'm not even sure what you're referring to.
Well, yeah, that's the information that was given to us, correct? You here,
Rather than rehab it, could you just tell us, because, you know,
You
we
chose
have,
to leave on our own. So that's not, we did not,
after
after. I don't want the words, after what?
after Edwin was brought in,
Okay.
correct?
From an operational perspective, we made changes to better enhance the experience of our team as well as to look forward to the experience or change the experience for the residents as well. We've had nothing but positive reviews since we've been here from Irma and her leading the way. We've had numerous conversations with the team regarding some of the operation opportunities that we had identified in that area. We took steps. Not everybody agreed to it, and we understand. No different than what you're doing today. You're looking to either A, enhance the experience or make more profit. I completely understand it's a business decision. Not everybody will agree with the scheme that you make. We had the same opportunity, but she chose for the week to leave. We did not ask for the week. In fact, I was devastated that she did leave because we did spend a lot of time with her and the team regarding to all the other things that we're doing. So I'm a little taken back by the non you're saying had a day that we are now sharing with me. It's not intended to be a relationship and best friends. You know, sometimes we've got to make the right decision. And if you don't choose that, we understand that. We understand that the board wants to go in a different direction. We'll get other avenues. I'm okay with that.
I guess there wouldn't have been hearsay if you could have taken the time to come to the meeting and explain this to us last month.
Again, more communication, and I'm glad to hear that we're going that direction, but there should be more communication in regards to who should be invited, how they're invited, and when reached out to, what their response would be appropriate to.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, we have kind of a family here. It's very much a community where there's a lot of camaraderie.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
And so we have certain people, personnel, and you know, staffing wise,
Yes, ma'am.
it's so hard to find people that really feel like family in a community or.
And I know that you got that. I
We
appreciate it.
did. We
I
did.
absolutely appreciate that.
And so when it came to us, we were all taken aback. We were all shocked. It was like, you know, it was like somebody, you know, took a family member out to the bathroom. And off them, and we were like, what happened? And so it was very jarring to us, and without any real explanation, cause, or any way to say, well, wait a second, what can we do about this? So it was a little shocking. I'm new back on the board, so I'm not really privy to any of the conversations taking place in the background. I'm just looking at it very A to B, what's good for our community. I'm looking at it from a financial standpoint, a revenue standpoint, and also the way everything, the look, but also the feel, the timber. So that's what we're gonna want to see you address.
Absolutely. And I encourage you, you know, take a talk with the staff if you haven't had an opportunity.
Multiple occasions.
I would be very, please make sure that we're looking at it, not just from the family friendly perspective, but we're also looking at it from a business. There are some things that need to be changed. I think we do take those steps. So we are very proud of those steps. Say this, say that. You have a question? Thank you, and it's hard to see because it's a used property, maybe they got. So, the important to reflect people who are going to go to the something. That is big mistake that you guys do share in the future. Just keep the board, that's so, okay, I would agree with that, yes, sir. But again, I want to make sure it's clear, we do not let the permit go.
So I was a original board member that made about 1 fee for cafe services. It was not based on karma or any personal relationships. My disappointment was that, but I think simply did not come here, and that Edwin, who we had no clue who he was.
Yep.
Came here and told us what was going on. I in the business, Dan in the business, Brian in the business. All of us, we would be in the same boat, we enter boy. I go to CDD and HOA board meetings all the time. Yeah, if I don't show up there and I'm just sitting on my regular security officer there, I would imagine I have the same outcome on the IBRP, and I may not lose my position. But I mean, no means with it, on my behalf, and I need that RFP proposal, with it anything to do with Edwin or Irma Lou or any of that, I have no relationship with that at all. I'm not the liaison for up here. I was more disappointed how it went down and the explanations that we received, like you said, I'm a hearsay, something about, yeah, I don't know, I don't do the gossip thing. Businesses have their own, set standards, what you guys do. I am thinking a separate business over there. We don't control what you guys do. We just, like my other board member said, communication is key to us. And you come here that day, we do not sit here for an hour.
No, I understand that, and I respect that, lesson learned, I think, it deserved a more formal presentation, absolutely. It was, a little casual in our conversation, what we had the last time I was here, exactly how you just shared it, this is your business, you have to do what you have to do, so in that comment, I didn't find that it was a formal presentation of part, but, it was a lesson for me. Thank you for that.
And I would like to add that as long as you are still managing the cafe, or however long that would be, that you remind your team that we have established posted hours of operation, because there have been some shortcomings in the evening hours where they have been closing it down and disappointing guests and residents because the grill is closed or whatever the heck it is that's been going on that is not consistent with published hours of operation.
Yes, ma'am.
Hours doesn't mean 15 minutes before,
Yes.
or half an hour before. When you say that you're open until a certain time, that time is when the cleanup starts.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I agree with that. Hours of operations are posted for a reason. Expectations are there. I would also request that there have been reports that board members are hearing with the staff that there are changes coming and that those members are no longer here. So respectfully, I ask that we ensure that we provide a standard of conduct when it comes to this information, and we're not presenting to the staff that things are changing, because right now we have people who are afraid and are leaving it.
Spirit.
If I can, I'd love to say, and at least on the record, we just did our first homeowner survey. Where we said, tell us about every section in Solterra and give ratings and reviews and tell us how we're doing the homeowners. And the cafe was the highest rated area we've had here. So from all of the things that we got going on, the homeowners, the people who are investors in Solterra have ranked what you have done so far, and the team that you have brought in and the services that you have provided as the most efficiently run system in all of the pieces of Solterra. So I think that's something that, I don't know what will happen today, but I want to try to state that on the record. We are appreciative of that, and when we're in have sense broken areas, you guys have remained strong and provided the service that has brought happiness to all of our guests.
But thank you for pointing that out, but I also want to point out that Irma Lou, who has been managing it, and who created that environment for people to give such positive feedback. So,
Did you hire Toronto?
Irma was part of the team when I got.
So you brought a person, community love to our community. So there's two sides of that.
Well,
It's a good.
Okay,
Thank you for
So if you guys want to do it that way, we're just gonna pass you this email. You can send the email that you sent the board that kind of outlined what it was that you guys wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would ask that, again, you should give them the context of the email. It's not an RFP. This was intended to be communicating the changes that were shared, as well as all the ideas that have been brought to the table after speaking with the staff. Some of the experience like this.
May I ask a question?
Speak with Edwin last week, I believe it was. He does have some good ideas, we tried some new food that he's made, and, I mean, he did share some of his ideas, his views with me last week when I spoke to him at the cafe.
Is this you guys?
And then that's somebody else.
Okay, and what's going on out there? Is
That is also the other part.
You have, 4 vendors
Okay.
presenting.
I would love to take breaks.
Yeah.
But per the request, that if you can send that email address, we'll have them printed out. Absolutely. Great. Yeah, so we'll have it printed out, we'll get it to them, so that then at the end, you get something.
One last question, your property was, and you involved in this.
Can we get a revenue, the revenue point, like, because it is, the lease is pertaining to the revenue, right? You get a chance to see the revenue outline?
Yeah, I want to,
Great. Joe, you want to speak?
same email or?
Yes,
Two different email.
same email. And then that way we just print it out, we can get the better name.
Great.
And then if you don't mind, you know, hang out. And then, at the end, you'll bring it for that work.
Thank you.
All right. Board, we're gonna, invite the next, vendor in. We will bring you all back in once the board.
Once they go, can we take a second real quick before we invite them?
Sure. Oh, to discuss, sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, I'd just like to address, I mean, you made a pretty standard statement of there have been people telling the employees that change is already coming. So I just want to address that head on. Has those statements been made by board members, the employees of the cafe, and your company's already come?
My only conversation with anyone in the cafe is with Edwin directly, and it was not about termination or it was actually the opposite. I told him that as of now we request the RFP, that doesn't mean you guys are terminated. As our cafe employees, that's spoken to them.
Sam, did you have any conversation?
I was here one day ordering some food. I asked how everybody was doing. They said they were good. Under no uncertain terms did I already tell them that they were fired.
I'm talking wrong.
I have no touch on the cafe at all.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I'll just follow the, Chair Brand's lead, who said it.
Okay.
No, good to talk about.
Okay, great.
Good info. Okay, Joe?
And Bob, then you were all familiar with. So,
Nice one, here you go.
I'm almost excited to give this, like, some of the issue.
Floor is yours, Bob. Tab one board. Should be able to scroll through.
Water, I'm gonna enjoy this air conditioning for a little bit longer. It's more water, taking time. Let's do it.
Have a good pitch. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know.
Thank you. It's speeding. It's been a day. Yeah.
Joe, is that meeting? Do what?
Use the map.
You want it turned down?
Use the fan speed.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
Yeah, we did.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's bring me more. So we kind of propose something different than the RFP. We propose a different model, the idea being that you don't really want a tenant in your space over there, you don't want. At the end of the day, we want to partner with the CDD, we want to have a common goal of serving all the guests well and doing a little more, more complete experience with the entire resort style offerings here. We would like, and this is gonna take some legal gymnastics from Meredith, either the CDD to hold liquor license, that you guys have ultimate control. The board can provide holding liquor license, you have ultimate control. You don't have to wait on a vendor to, if a vendor changes, there's no lapse in service, but for them waiting to get a liquor license approved. Insurance. We draw all the lines for the throughout the process, the way it ends up looking, liquor license procurement, they're gonna want a map of their service area. You're built with that in mind, all the gates. You map out the entire property as your entire service area. You can do full vendor, you can do full service, that whole thing. We can do portable bars all over the back. The idea of being here, kind of the high level is we want you to receive 100% of the revenue. You pay 100% of the cost. You cut us a check in the proposal, we say $2,000 a month for hour management of the facility. And then we staff it with upwards of probably 15 folks, 15 people. We do our traditional labor market, get benefits and taxes and insurance are paid. But at the end of the day, the board gets to approve what goes on here. In the event that you want to do off-peak hour adventures, you want to do wind down Wednesdays in a time slot that's not typically well attended at. The board can make that decision because the board doesn't necessarily need to make a profit like a tenant would need to do in that facility. Looking at the numbers that Real Managed posted for the first quarter this year, I kind of extrapolated a lot of that out into the last page of the proposal here, last page of the 3 pages. The numbers look good. The numbers look really good. That would allow for y'all to subsidize the amenity fee. It would allow for a big capital expenditure budget to expand the service area. I don't know the original design for what Solterra was intended to be, but the current setup, the current build out is adequate to service the guests that you have. And it's just getting busier every year. So the board would incur all the costs, you would enjoy all the upside, and we would just take our own management fee. It would allow us another 15 employees on the property to help subsidize wherever needed to make sure that if there's a rush in any specific locations, we've got more staff here to take care of it. In the event somebody calls out, ideally, that team would also be providing a lot of the amenity procedures and whatnot. And that team could, fill in wherever needed. Right now, we've got just enough folks to staff and run this facility. In the event somebody calls out, I would imagine it kind of ruins your day. If somebody calls out, it's not fun. Whereas these folks would allow for more staff on site to fill up those gaps and make it make sense. That's it. What was that? Absolutely, send it to the grill. It's a very simple model, and it makes a lot of sense. There's more transparency, there's more trust. You don't have to count on us to send you a rev share every month. On the second page is the more exciting part that I got to here. These are, in the event we hit certain goals. These are goals that were extrapolated from the information that we were provided by Real Manage. In the event we hit these revenue targets, then we start a revenue share. The board starts a revenue share with Arctis Lifestyles. These are revenue numbers, not profit numbers. The goal should be everybody on the pool deck gets something. It makes the experience better. We want to encourage top line revenue because that means everybody's enjoying the hot line. Everybody's enjoying food, beverage, whatever it may be. We can cycle in all of the cabana rentals and things like that. You can move in the food and beverage piece of that as well. But this essentially adds targets for us to hit on a quarterly basis. In the event we hit those targets,
There's certain splits that we ask for, we're flexible on those splits as well. But the big thing for us to ensure that everybody's got a common goal of serving the guests. In the event we are eligible for any of these targets, we would split, Artemis would split our share 50-50 with the staff in Cafe Sol. To encourage them, we all have a common goal, move more product. We want to move more product, but make sure that people get what they want. And, yeah, there's a lot of like corporate buzzword, a lot of synergy that goes on whenever we start talking about this. You know, there's no coordination whenever if there's a lifestyle event, that lifestyle events are better with food and beverage. We don't have to haggle with a vendor over there to get that involved. In the event we want to add portable bars for peak times all around the pool deck, so that everybody's not lining up over here waiting for a cocktail. Or if we want to do, we can do everything cocktail serving around. You can do inclusive cabana packages, like I said. They can pre-order the night before. There's a bucket of beer, bucket of soda, and a fruit platter waiting for them. So there's nothing but upside in our opinion. At that point, we're not a tenant. We are a partner with y'all. If you think that you want to try something wild, we'll bring up some wild ideas to y'all. Say, hey, we want to do wine down Wednesday or something like that. We're offering wine steep discount and get people up here on off-peak hour. Because as you know, you guys see it all day, every day. You've got your peak hours where, you can't let anybody else through the gate. Food and beverage is a great motivator to get them here earlier. It's also a good motivator to have them stay later so that your pool deck it's already paid for and, you want it to be utilized for the entire window that makes sense. So, questions?
So,
Pretty good.
as everyone knows, when they did the original Artemis RFP, Bob figured it out. His proposal, I think, I spoke with Bob last night, several times about this proposal, and, I saw it, and I called him, and went over a couple questions I had, which he quick answers to. I think this guy hits the nail right in the head as far as what we've been trying to do with the board. We got no control right now with the cabin, and every time that, like, Debbie brings up a cabin, hey, we ready if we can do a package. We don't have that say right now because they're private business. If they're apartments, they're already Artemis. Diane has the option to say, hey, this guest has had a horrible experience, I want to give them bucket of it. But right now, we can't do that.
Service recovery is gonna be huge with this.
And a bucket of beer will cost us $6. Versus going, and right now, if we have to reimburse the cafe $30 for a bucket of beer, it's not really a service model that we've been trying to get that hospitality aspect of it. And if you go on and you have that experience, they're gonna say, hey, here's a $6 steak, have it, no problem, have a great day, and be enjoying the time.
And there's other things that tie into this as well. In the event we really want to push an all-inclusive experience or an all-inclusive experience, there's ways that we can navigate that in the future as well, where you want the friction of payment as little as possible. Where in the event this is all inclusive with everybody else, and it's not a separate vendor. We can make sure all those things tie together. If somebody comes in with a magic band or something like that, and go up and get the food and beverage, and you have to pull the wall out of the pocket. I've seen a lot of work in the past. How do you feel about liquor license? Is it a doable thing?
I have
Yeah,
another highly amenitized district where the district, holds the restaurant and liquor licenses, and it's exactly as you explained it, it's the boundaries.
Yep.
And they have a restaurant, they also have a bar and a movie theater and all of those, which is why the license is important in the district's name. But yes, this is very doable. It's a management services agreement, which a few years ago, we did discuss options with the board and the composition at the time between lease and management services. There wasn't an opportunity really to pursue the management services at the time. Now there is. That's very exciting for this board. If that's something that you want to do. It's something we can work with. That's correct.
Well, we did have one, but it wasn't. I because Brian is working on the 2030 vision. We have amenities and the things that we are kind of imagining, and we have homeowners that are saying, we need the dog park, we need the splash pad, we need all of those things. But unless we can generate revenue to help capture the cost of these things, it's all just a pipe dream for us, because nobody wants to see our fees increase either on the HOA side or on the CDD special assessment side. But we want 5-star amenities, and we want to be able to deliver that experience to the guests to elevate our nightly rates and our reviews, but we need a way to bridge the gap to get there. And
So when I have management agreements for food and beverage, and it is, the district pays a fee, a management fee to the vendor, you're saying 2,000 here plus a potential, revenue share at certain thresholds. The exchange being the district incurs all costs and expenses, including food costs.
Yes.
So that's not something that this board has currently in your fiscal year 26 budget, the anticipation that the district is incurring the cost of food and beverage served from there. So right now, your lessee pays and incurs those costs. The district would then be responsible for buying food, buying beverage, buying liquor. Once we get the liquor license in the district's name, your current lease agreement, because it's a lease agreement, has a 60-day termination provision. 60 days, depending on which way the board goes, should theoretically be sufficient time for any sort of change in the way your licenses are structured, but I don't want to promise that that will happen. It'll be largely staff in the state.
And since the time period would be pointless now, it's pretty much slower time of the year anyways, so I mean, that would really be a deal, like a need for new properties to come in and try to process the model, and that's something in the middle of the summer when, we're super busy. They're kind of struggling to float, so I think that October, that area would really be beneficial for them as far as starting out training and getting the policies, procedures, and kind of getting their feet shut.
So that begs the question there, is it possible to, how do you work that budget? Because there's gonna be revenue to offset the cost. How does that look on your end?
So the way that the contract is written is that every year, as part of the budget process, the food and beverage management company provides a food and beverage budget to the board to incorporate into the overall O&M budget.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's approved by the board as part of the overall budget, but it is a separate F&B budget given to the board by the management company.
We're talking about, can we do it at the current level using real management's previous numbers? I think it's underutilized. I think they're not getting the bang for the buck they could have in that space. I think that's a good baseline. Yeah, that will be the baseline. There was, in everything's percentages, right? As it goes up, the revenue goes up, and as the cost goes up, the revenue goes up. And our job is to keep those numbers at the right ratios, so at the end of the month, they're still positive numbers.
Because this structure hasn't existed here and numbers may not, current numbers, I can't verify, right? So I don't know if the board can rely on those metrics. This may be something where we do have to have best guess from professionals as to what that budget would be. And if we need to determine financing in the fiscal year, then we have to determine a different financing in the fiscal year. If there needs to be a loan, bank loan or something like that to float if it gets out of hand, and we can't, work within the fiscal year 26 budget. But I would defer to your professional staff to help guide.
It will be a sizable. Remanage owns all the inventory in there currently, so all that would go. You all own the infrastructure, so there is going to be a large purchase. Of a certain amount, it's gonna be tens of thousands of dollars to stock everything up. But ideally, food vendors, for the most part, at least have 30, they're better partners.
We do?
Yeah.
So you're on a month-long flow anyway.
We need the district on most of the equipment in there, and I have in the current lease, equipment and inventory list.
That helps a lot, actually.
A question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure how this impacts it, but, in the past, we've talked about monetizing, different parts of the different, and we were told that, we are only allotted certain square footage to monetize.
Correct.
So how does this model impact that?
My understanding is you're not proposing to expand the square footage of the revenue generating
Well,
area.
Right, we're talking about, from what I'm hearing, we're talking about, around the pool area, in other places.
But it's mobile, so it doesn't count, right? It's not.
This is a great time to let the board know that the chairman and I are going to be having a phone call with bond counsel next week to discuss options for potential flexibilities and better opportunities for the board. Right now, there is a bit of a constraint, and it's not even a bit, it's a constraint, because the bonds that finance the buildings, infrastructure are tax exempt. Bond counsel is potentially going to look at, depending on direction of the board, converting the current outstanding debt from tax exempt to taxable.
Got it.
To perhaps give the board more flexibility to use more space so that it's not necessarily constrained by the private use. So that's something that we're actively getting bond counsel to give us an opinion on, and they did ask me at 11 o'clock last night for a call with Brian next week, so I was able to, Brian Meir, the chairman. So I was able to at least speak with him briefly this morning, and we're trying to get that in place. We're all very eager for that.
Not to keep selling or anything like that, but what this also does is it scales up and down infinitely. However it is we want us to, in the event, if we're holding on that bond meeting or we're waiting till next year for more flexibility, we can add more staff and take staff away and with no real friction. It's scalable infinitely up and down to the service level you guys are comfortable with, and that we recommend. So.
Is there any cap for the, what is the top dollar for the tax, non-tax? Bond?
You currently have just under $16 million in outstanding tax exempt debt as the district.
Okay, so at what point that there should be jump to the tax?
You would have to refinance to taxable bonds, and bond counsel said approximately $16 million refinance for your outstanding debt, because all of your outstanding debt right now is tax exempt, to convert it to taxable.
So what we're looking on what?
Yeah, so, you can't really split that? Can you package it differently, the bond, or will it go through? Okay.
Yeah, there's something got an option.
Of course.
Yes, sir. And I'm not bond counsel, so anything, if you want to schedule individual calls, I can't have multiple supervisors on the same call with bond counsel, but I'm happy to schedule individual.
Okay, you're going to cross it. Just give the question answer. Don't go. Multiple supervisors, I am not even asking.
Okay.
That's where there is a confusion always. The question is, because usually they ask for some threshold.
Mhm.
Usually once the thresholds are like crossed, then government will say, hey, guys, you can no longer use taxes, then you got to do it different here and all those things. That's where
The square footage of your cafe
Right.
is the maximum allowable square footage for revenue generating activities, for private activities, according to bond counsel, pursuant to your current bond conditions as tax exempt.
Okay, so we are with the full square footage right now?
You are you're at maximum capacity for square footage right now.
That square footage aligned to revenue generation, only generating you $1,200 a month revenue, right?
Yeah.
Or it's completely generating you a fair chunk of money.
What, do you have an estimate of what your initial stock cost would be as far as purchasing all the inventory?
I would venture a guess, yeah, I would venture a guess, it's going to be, we talked about the net 30, net 60 on most food and beverage purveyors. The only exceptions are liquor purveyors and alcohol purveyors. Everything they do is COP. So it's gotta be somewhere probably between $20,000 to $30,000. And it's not, I think that $100,000 of the product, right? It's not gonna be. Yeah, absolutely.
I have one question. How does this ship liability, worst case scenario, boy makes copies, we draw it, spills it on them? Where does that stop?
So the liability is with us, because so you're referencing if you're talking about you carry the liquor license. Florida, and correct me if I'm wrong there, Meredith, Florida's pretty, staunch on what you call dram shop laws, where it's the actual server carries the most risk. Whoever handed that person that beer is the person most at risk. It has to be a systemic documented problem that the liquor license holder knows to have occurred multiple times and done nothing to reconcile that, at which point the liquor license holder does carry some liability. But the biggest, we carry the most liability, it's not even Artemis Lifestyle. The actual team member is the person carrying the most liability. Naturally, in the event there ever is some sort of situation where it results in a loss, our insurance would cover it. Our insurance would argue, y'all's insurance could figure out who pays for it.
We'll have vetted the insurance arguments in the contract.
That was my only question.
It sounds like Bob shows some advice and actually did homework.
I worked in food and beverage for the better part of 15 years. I've pulled liquor licenses. I've run clubhouses with the very model. I've family center, Raymond James Stadium. I've done a lot of.
So you're gonna be getting heck of this operation.
I'll be back for the grill with a.
That's good.
That first day we went outside, just.
Is there any other questions for me? I know my peers out there anxiously waiting.
I think we're good enough.
We have few, but I'm going to email you.
Hey, Bob, real quick, just to clarify, the rev share would be based on total revenue, not including the expenses that the district would incur.
To push that top line number higher,
Sure.
the more revenue we push, it's going to serve everybody better. And even if we start talking about the profit, we're going to start closing early. Everybody's going to start considering the bottom line. We're going to start closing early and not exactly thinking about customer experience.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In the agreements that I have for food and beverage management, most folks are pretty realistic. Restaurants aren't typically revenue generating opportunities. They're usually your loss entity.
Yep.
In the event of a loss
Yep.
and not revenue production, what is Artemis's plan?
So there is no penalty for going below, because at the end of the day, we're going to take direction from the board of supervisors as to, in the event you want to give up free tacos on Taco Tuesday, we're happy to do it because it's the board's money. There will be no penalty for running a red. We don't intend on running a red unless the board wants to make a free food and beverage outlet. Mind you, you've got low enough overhead, it's essentially a concession stand. You've got low enough overhead that this thing shouldn't lose money. If they're losing money, they're staffing it off. It's all of your variable labor costs, but either you're throwing food away, you're buying too much. There's no way that thing should lose money.
If the power goes out, all the food goes bad, we have to rebuy all the food again, but that's on us.
Yep.
Again, to put in another investment. If it happens the second time, a week later, that's on us again to restock.
Unless one of their employees unplugged the refrigerator.
At which
Right.
point, we're the negligent party and we would replace it.
But in the case of a random accident that no one had control on,
Correct.
the electricity's not burning, you don't have a generator. all the food
Acts
goes
of
bad.
God and things like that. But if it's within the reasonable control of the employees who are operating the facility, then they have an obligation to attempt to salvage,
Okay.
any.
Right now, that happens, you don't lose any sleep, the vendor takes care of it.
Correct.
If that were to happen before.
We would be talking about it, absolutely.
There is a risk in more case of this.
I do have, in other contracts for other food and beverage, not every month, but it's an annual recap. At the end of every fiscal year, we do an analysis of, the profit or loss of the restaurant.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's the profit, then it's the profit share, very similar to what you all described. But if there's a loss, then the management company does forfeit a portion of its monthly management fee as part of having some skin in the game.
I would definitely be amenable to that. I'd like to see the language. I'd like to see what the penalty looks like in terms of. I'd like to not give it all up, but a chunk, makes sense to us.
And I think you see that they're proposing like $2,000, I think that's very low to me, something like these, amount.
Right. That would be something we'd want to negotiate based on known actuals or anticipated. The examples I have are for different facilities, but the lost payment is, you take the loss times 25%.
Got it?
And then whatever that number is, you take the anticipated loss that's proposed in the budget every year, subtract the actual times 25%, and then there's up to $15,000 in one of my scenarios, because it's a significant business.
We would just forego our management fee, the $2,000 every month until we get that, until we get that thing. Write it up, I'll read it. It sounds good to me.
Okay, I just wanted to, it's a little bit different than a lease, obviously, so I'm gonna hash it out while we hear you.
We give it away to the tenant, just throwing that out there. We don't want to be your tenant, we want to be your partner, we want to all work towards common.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool, because then, everybody's, aligned with the same goals. And then we've already got the HOA, and we already have the Solterra website and the social media, and these things can be pushed out through the HOA to say, hey, we're doing, Monday night football tonight, or we're doing, Taco Tuesday, or we're, after we get our nighttime pool lights approved, we're gonna have a glow party, or, whatever we're gonna do, and, drive people here instead of their backyard pool.
Yeah, we've got, this just makes our whole lifestyle program a little more all-inclusive. Food and beverage is a big piece of this lifestyle program. You might see some of your lifestyle events a little less than, well-attended.
Yeah.
And that changes immediately when the food and beverage
If
aspect.
we were to use like a mobile payment process where people could order from all around.
As long as we actually wildlife records on the building.
That was come under partner.
Yep.
Right?
It's all your upside, so it's all your costs.
Great.
Okay.
Sounds great. That's good. Can we chat for a little bit?
Yeah. Thank you.
What could be a gangster, also the next person that.
Excellent.
Can I make an ask?
Meredith, can we talk about, okay, so it sounds like right now there is limitations because of the tax exempt bonds that while this proposal looks amazing, there are limitations on how much we can potentially generate in revenue.
How much square footage you can use for revenue generating activities?
So the way it stands now, could we approve that and have no issues?
So it's in the public footprint of what's there.
Yep. But they do, he is talking about wanting to expand.
The expansion aspect, square footage wise, likely would run afoul of your current restrictions for your tax exempt bonds, but I'm not bond counsel, so please, allow that to be a caveat.
Yeah.
Would it run afoul of profit generating? There possibly not. There are limits on earnings and interest earnings over the amount that you're paying, and then we have to true up with the IRS, but.
Yeah, so the time that I've been here, we've gotten 8,000 from the quarter, so 2,500. It comes in, and I'm always heard that there's limits on revenue. What they're talking about now is that number is going to be euros to the end of that, and there's no issues with that if we just pass that through.
The 100%, I'm going to have to run this by bond counsel if this is the board's preferred vendor.
Yep.
There typically is some sort of, fee paid, monthly fee paid to your food and beverage vendor. Most of the profits or revenues go right back into rebuying food, beverage.
Got it. Okay. So let me.
It's fairly cyclical. So I hesitate to say, yes, this would be fine because I'm not bond counsel.
That's right.
But I have seen this in operation at other districts that have tax exempt bonds, that financed their.
We just need to look at.
I just need to have bond counsel confirm that. I just can't because I'm only district
So
counsel.
on this section, it sounded like there were 2 options. One, if you go down the side, there is potential that we would need to refinance our bonds from tax exempt to taxable and pay the fee on that, which means then we've got clear paths, to do whatever we want, the revenue can come in, but we do not know what that amount of cost us to be able to refinance those things, and we'll have it soon. Option B was that we do a lease agreement with the HOA.
Mhm.
And give them our recommendations on what we would like you to do, and the HOA would make the final decision.
Mhm.
In what who they wanted to hire, and the revenue would funnel through the HOA in any capacity. And theoretically would drop HOA expenses down,
It could.
and then we would still be responsible for the food and stuff like that. So we would be working with the HOA, we would not need to refinance our bonds, but we would lose maybe a little bit of control.
With the lease agreement, it would essentially be exactly what you have right now. You'd be leasing the space for the exclusive use of a vendor, potentially your HOA,
To the Solterra HOA.
to the Solterra HOA, who would then use that facility however they wanted to within the terms of the lease agreement. The district would not be responsible in a lease situation for the cost of food. So keeping that distinction in mind.
We would not.
A lease, they true transfer of.
The
You
HOA.
run-
To give up any of our governmental property, I think right now, the path that we're going down, I think with the RMS or whoever we decide to go with that, I like that we have an oversight over it, it's in our building, especially if we did go with RMS, some of that cross training of the staff, some of the ideas I think are great, and it sounds like we probably need to table this and not vote your election days, because we have to cancel the contract with the other vendor. If
Up to
we
the board.
decide we're gonna go with RMS, it sounds like we probably have to, table this to next month and do a little more investigation and so that all of our ducks are in line before we cancel the current contract.
Pardon? Yeah, Brand, okay?
Yeah, big question.
Go ahead. So I just like the Brandon talk on a few numbers just briefly. Let's say we keep the same status quo. But we understand our partner, right?
Yeah.
If we bring them as a partner, right? No one thing is proposing is like very good person for their cost. In terms of running the payroll, right? Let us say if we are doing about like 250K, we take a 34%, we have 165K. Even at 165K, if we kind of use $100,000 for the starting of the, 65K, yeah, we have 65K. So even if you bring it down to 66, let's say maybe you have some extra. The season like some beer, extra, whatever you right? So even if you bring it up $10,000, right? We still in every part of 4 parts, $10,000, we still be better than what. Right now, right?
But I think, so if we do that and we keep it on our
Exactly the same.
we have a taxable bond issue.
No, that's what,
Yeah.
not expanding anything.
It sounds like we may not have a tax issue if we keep.
Yeah.
Keep the current footprint, do the management as proposed, and we'll make sure that the numbers make sense and bond council is okay with it, then we could have a food and beverage management services agreement with Artemis in place, like I have at several other districts.
Right. We still make it 40,000, I'm saying that. You might say, someone that's usually has. Like brand. You can, absolutely. Right. Yeah, sorry. Okay, just what I'm saying. So the numbers make sense for us, like basically walk with the point, not your plus. And also, we get the control of like the some way that's the honest way, can bring in, regular investment, or like, friend. So you can implement these kind of ideas by reviewing the feedback and discussions, stuff, or we have better control inside the bank, like, bringing up, lighting up some stuff here, all those things.
The argument that I've heard is one, it can be any day, any time, make decisions.
Right.
Or kind of simply once a month, which that still could be fine, too. We have a system now that allows things to still move forward. But that was one of the concerns that came up of, if the HOA did control it, they would have the ability to make changes all the time, and it's not like we can't still work with it. It would just, our lease would be the HOA, so it's not, we would just be assigning what we want, what we think is best. If we wanna keep it here, we have a couple of hurdles to jump around. If we wanna give it a little weight to the HOA, we maybe lose control of it. And the HOA wants to say,
It sounds like no matter what we do, as long as we don't expand, we're not really losing our tax.
so do we ever want to expand?
He said probably in the future, but obviously that's how we lost it.
That's right. You would determine how the operation is going, and then, you know, if there's an opportunity for expansion, you would
Yeah.
consider it. Just, I think the upside is great. Just do take into consideration that it would be a business. You could potentially see the downside, which is taking a loss. We don't know the actual revenue numbers, so God forbid if all of a sudden we have $250,000, now we have a cost share and you've only profited 10,000 for expenses. So look at both sides, but I do think the upside is very enticing.
Weighing on me is the fact that we can scale staffing there based on where the levels of the staffing and scaling. So when it's slow, if we only have 2 to 3 staff members, our overhead is gonna be much smaller. And right now, obviously, he's talking about possibly 15, that would be business season. The 2 or 3 in the winter times, this place is dead come December. That a whole month of December, it's too cold, it's 32 degrees, so I mean, during that area, it'd be great to have that scale down, we still have another vendor we haven't heard from, they may be amazing, we don't know yet.
Okay.
But, I mean, as far as Artemis, I like their staffing model, we could cross train a couple of their staff, have them work, it's nice that.
Artemis could do that if they want to, certainly.
Yeah, the upside is good.
And when it's told and people are using the pool, you know, there's still the opportunity for us to use that staff to deliver food and, you know, just make it a lot easier for people.
And the team, we join with delivery company,
That's cool.
something, I don't want to speak for them, but it seems like something that they more politically entertaining.
Yeah, and still ready to shuttle.
Service recovery component and the opportunities that this will provide if we, you know, have, you know, some guests that are upset for whatever reason and, you know, not having to work out a business relationship with a separate vendor to say, okay, here, this is what we need to do to, you know, correct this experience, whatever it is, whether it's all our fault or not, you know, it's.
The red share is awesome with employees. They almost have incentives to grow and make sure people got what they need, so.
Right, and also, only to give that, maybe we could work on the 10-15% bonus. We can work on that number with them.
Okay, and I mean, right now, we're still paying the gas, the electric, so right now, we're realistically, we're operating the rent right now. Because the profit we're getting and the rent isn't even close to the gas and the electric we're using.
I mean, I think that's the problem with the 10% bonus, because I mean, we're not even getting 10% now.
What I'm saying is, they have two things, right? 10%, 15%, we can become in the middle, maybe like put a one flat.
I think that the incentives to incentivize the staff to be able to be, you know,
Selling, wanting.
selling and engaging and promoting things is well worth it. Particularly when half of that money is gonna go back to the staff and create a huge positive feedback cycle in terms of morale and attitude. So I have no problem with that, honestly.
Okay, let's bring in next guy.
Okay. Next vendor. We have, Family Cuisine.
That needs to fit in and it elements that out and like. Where 35 hours a year, 20 years, just, you know, that big body, I guess.
Good morning.
The board was gonna give 100%, we gave you guys your bill, and it goes, how do you proceed? be here. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. My name is Erwin Crespo, I'm the food service manager. We have a city Santiago, and one assistant manager too. Like I always say, here with the community, and that's why I picked that name, because that's how we can represent that we are fighting for the business and we're what it doesn't do. I always thank everybody, especially the whole makers, I'll give it the opportunity to show you guys what we can do and working. I'm really happy that this days from nobody have been on the cafe, now we have more companies working for you guys and doing the best so you guys can decide who's the best for you. And I'm really, I'm pretty proud and happy because of that. We are here to serve you, like I always, we are part of this little community. For me, it's really special because from the beginning up to now that we see it, it's a big huge. And thank you guys for the opportunity to give me to show you guys more about hospital. And the team that we have on the cafe, that we're gonna keep going up, we're gonna keep growing up with you guys, and we're gonna do more better. And the customer service for the guests and homeowners to give you the chance and the trust at the beginning since when we start. We like to represent that, everything that we have in the proposal, you guys, is truly and it's clear. And we want you guys to be comfortable with us to say, hey, no, we want you to do this, change this and that, because that we have that kind of wall anymore, decide yes or no, we can decide it at the moment with us. I'm sorry.
No, not enough.
Speakers down there.
I'm sorry. So I wanted to guys to understand that this year is like something from our heart and from us to begin with you guys and seeing this resort go beyond more because I know we have so many potential and everything will be so beautiful and comfortable. And the purpose is to come and enjoy. They enjoy the pool, but they enjoy our service too. They can feel okay, I'm in the pool, but I can feel at home with the food and quality and service that they give us. That's pretty much it. We do want it. I think be more on this rate of growing up. We want to go to the food and they said alcohol license. We want to give the service to the Camanas more to say, yes, we're going to have staff to start them. We want to stop that. We wanted to, every single person that is here, they are serviced as equal. And or of course, we have funding and drinks. Our future is to go to the full liquid license. We want some one idea that we want to bring to you guys, like tiki bars on the pools, on the lazy river side. So people doesn't have to come all the way to this side. So when they the line to put one here, they can have something special with them. They can say, okay, I'm here, I can take my drink, up to like get my order stay. My food that will be delivered to us on the table. Another service that we want to provide you guys is deliveries. I know it's kind of, being a little bit tricky, yes or no, but now we can have the decision to say, yes, we're gonna deliver to the homeowners who on running, so we're gonna want to just get out and have to order from Uber, eat or DoorDash outside. They have it here because my understanding is if they're already here, they're already in the home, why they need to go out when they have the property. They food and service over here. So that's our main goal and take it to the next level. Take it to the service that we are doing right now and beyond. One of the things that I want to do too, it's just, I'm pretty sure they are, our employees, they are really service, but I want to motivate it a little bit more. So we want to do like a little bit, every service that they got, they get a little bonus from us. So like that is motivated and they put the restore a little bit higher than what we have right now. Those reviews, they are really, really beyond for us. Because for those reviews, it's when we see that people coming in and they will say, okay, those reviews is because of the service and enjoying the feeling to come and have the community here with the food and the food size. So that's a little bit of stuff that we have to go and do. We do have some changes on the menu. We want to bring a little bit of more of the tropical Latin size. We're gonna have to, if you guys, that we can do some Latin foods over here too, to provide you guys that of details, so you don't have to go out to get a rice and beans, when you can come over here or call us and we can deliver it to you guys to your house. That's one of the new things that we want to do. We want to go out with you guys together. Any feedback, that's our best competition for us, you know, our this is what we want, this is what we need. Like I always say, we want to bring just everybody together to enjoy this. And since we are here, we're gonna bring that from the people who come from outside. We do offer 2 events, annual events for you guys. We would like to give you guys a gala night. So the homeowners can go and join us together with the partner and have a little bit together with a light music, a light catering, food, something that's based on night. So everybody, so you guys can join us for you guys. Of course, that's going to be covered for us. It's just a little appreciation for you guys to be here with us and support us. We do have another event that we call it Luau, that it will provide over here on the pit side. That will let everybody to enjoy that. We may have some food ladies and, you know, some fun activities for you guys. We choose a little bit something so you guys can feel like we are part of that. You know, we're just not actually sitting down there and doing what they need to do now. We are here for beyond more. We want to be part of the whole resort. That's our purpose, that's our family business, and that's what we want to bring to you guys. Anything else you guys want to ask, questions?
Well, this is less of a question than a statement. For me, you know, what you've brought to this community, in terms of our existing rate reviews and what, as Brian pointed out, strength of reviews in terms of the overall picture has been the cafe, and I think that that's entirely attributable to you and to your management of the staff, the food, and really, I mean, it's so clear the love and joy that you bring to the cafe, to our community. To me, that's an imperative, and you've proven yourself in that standpoint. You know, we have another proposal on the table, which is a completely different business model, which does provide us with some opportunities that we haven't seen before. So, but also along with that is more responsibility and more risk. So, so I think that we've got a lot of things to weigh out. But I don't think there's anybody here who would deny what you have brought to us. And I'm eternally grateful for what you've done for our community. And so, you know, the menu looks great. The food has always been wonderful. The idea of the deliveries is something that I have just brought up. Also, I think that the delivery to the community, we have rainy days, everybody's, okay, you've got to leave the pool now, they go home, and do they really want to go out in a thunderstorm to pick something up? Do we want to have lines at the gate of, you know, different Uber Eats and different, you know, venues, vendors and stuff like that, putting that extra weight in the gate of, you know, access and that kind of thing, to have somebody here that's willing to do that. Your willingness to work with with, staff and with the community in terms of fulfilling our wants, needs, flexibility and all of that kind of thing. So, I don't think that, given a normal, proposal, I don't see how you could really lose. The flip side of that is that the business aspect that the other vendor is bringing to us is also very enticing. So we have to, I think we've got to, weigh out certain things.
Your ratio is 8% of. That's generated at the end of what's left.
After expenses.
Yes, so that kind of something that we can negotiate, as something that we just brought to be here, just to present it to you guys. Of course, we want to be on the more fairly again for both sizes. We do want to bring our alcohol license as a whole liquor store. So I know the first year is going to be a little bit tough to bring that license as $100,000, so we want to bring that on us. So everything that we will have at the first year from us, it will be invested for the cafe and for the business by itself. So in the future, if we want to, definitely we can change something that is we get more, if we something that we can definitely work for both sides.
Yeah.
So the 8% of net is considerably less than what one of the other proposals was. However, they didn't mention that a liquor license would certainly add quite a bit to the bottom line. What little experience or knowledge I have about the food and beverage industry is while the net profit on food tends to be 20%, and those numbers are inverted on liquor. So liquor tends to be 80% of profit. So having a full liquor license not only would make certain of our stakeholders very happy. They've been pretty vocal on the chats about how they want to see a full bar out there and everything else. And I think it would add a lot of excitement to have, the TV screens and a full bar. Now, you brought up a good point. The liquor license is $100,000, and that would be coming out of your budget. Yes. Now, going back to you, is $100,000 in your experience? Is that what it costs for a liquor license?
I would have to pull, I don't manage the licenses
Right.
at the places, it's management that
Right.
handles that, so I
Okay.
would have to look.
So, because if that's $100,000 and that's true, given the other business model that we were looking at, that would be $100,000 out of our pocket.
What I can say from the facility that I am most familiar with their operations, again, though I do not manage their liquor license, that district has a special license
All right.
that is more advantageous than an individual business may be able to obtain because of it being the district from a cost perspective. But I would have to pull actuals to give you a real number. I don't manage that.
Okay, because if we have to reach into our pockets to the tune of $100,000 to, that's a big jump.
I don't.
So if you can find out what that is, personally, I don't drink, but I'm so excited about the idea of having a full bar there and all of that kind of thing. But I'm not excited about having to, get a loan or, finance something for the district at an additional $100,000 burden.
Say $100.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm saying full.
Wow. Whoa.
And do we have a liquor license now?
Yes, so we have the wine basement, that's all we provide.
Not a full.
So with the wine-based liquor license, is there something that,
They would have their own, they would need their own.
not mocktails, but because there are alcohol but where you make like a lime-based Mai Tais and stuff like that. You know, so it kind of looks like, feels like, has that little kick to it. And we're serving beer, right? You have the ability to serve beer. So maybe we can ramp up to something like that, you know, where we have, and maybe it just doesn't even make sense for us to have, you know, top shelf vodkas and stuff like that, if we can make this work. People are here, they're on vacation. You know, maybe if it looks like and it feels like, you know, booze, maybe it's booze. You know, if we can make that work and just dress up those drinks and make it look like a real deal, but I'd like to.
Or is that just like one time? Yeah.
It's, you have to review it every time, but it's not gonna be the same thing, it's just a quick review for the license.
Not the same,
Yeah.
application.
No.
How many communities are there?
So right now, we're starting to get one, we have financial services kind of resort, we have different opportunities at dates. You guys are more than welcome to join them. You guys are part of the family, so it's something different, but definitely, sort of separate from their resort, but it's a community in the resort and they have full size, the same environment. Just they have like an inside door rest.
Always the resources are different.
What is the difference? So my,
When the regular bar fare, that's different than the sort. But
but what is that difference?
cost,
What cost difference?
Location, depends to tourist activities, groceries, type of liquor served, all that would.
Lots of variables.
With a lot of variables and it is an integral cost.
Yeah. Assumption on premises.
And when you purchase by the district, they're a different cost, they're gonna.
To my knowledge, there are different liquor and food service licenses available to the district than a private business.
that's what I'm saying.
And I'm trying to pull the one that I have to see if the budget specifically delineates those costs, just to see, but I'm not sure.
We were different cost, but it all depending on the region also.
So we need to do some research and find out what those costs are.
It's only one time go big amount, so for the first year, for the second year, we can renew the contracts again and pay, this is what we're gonna do a little bit more, because, for my experience, since I got the cafe, without no money at all, you know, without nothing, and the company didn't have no fair because the cafe was not making money, but we make it so much different in less than a year. So that make a little different for our customer service, that then we know that we have the potential, but even if we have the money, we have the right tools and the right stuff and the right stuff, it makes a really different on that amount every year.
So question real quick.
Yes.
Are you saying that you guys weren't generating profit when you were running the establishment? Were you under maybe from expenses to profit? You were under.
So. $60,000
Okay.
And now, last year, we make it up to 250 profit.
Nice.
It's a big difference because of the service and all the deals that we can do. So it make a huge difference for the resort.
But it
Nice.
was, the timber of it was completely different. And that's why I'm, I'm really, and I think the whole board was up in arms when we got the news that you weren't gonna be at the cafe any longer. It's because, to me, customer service and the customer experience is everything. And further to that, and to what you were saying, Brian, about the reviews. We're also, and this is a little off topic, but reviews are going to be part of the lifeblood of this community going forward, right? And you can have a QR code like on the counter on the point of sale that takes people directly to your Google reviews that actually pre-fill in a 5-star review. So all people have to do, if somebody asks and says, if you liked your experience, please, if they just flash on the QR code, it takes them immediately to a 5-star review. And all I have to do is give it a title or say, thank you.
Yeah, my survey was great.
Right, service was great, and that's gonna immediately jack our profile, I think. So, but it's very contingent on what their experience is, so.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's a little off topic, I'm sorry. I'm wasting your time, stuff. So, to me, it's a question of the business models, the expense of the, and then versus Ermelou's,
Proven track record.
Proven track record.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Okay. Questions, board?
It's just echo all of the sentiments regarding it's so nice to come up here and see her smiling face.
That's fine.
Great hospitality for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you for the trust because, and that's one of the things that my name is really important to me. The same way that it's really important to me. So there is what is makers, make me to grow up more and understanding how every store wants to be as a company and as a business. Of course, now understand we are a business property too. So we do understand everything that is bring to us.
Irma, quick question. The total expenses for the 29,000, is that for the district to incur that monthly expense, or are you just breaking it down? You're just breaking it down. Okay. Okay. Okay.
We can be less, just kind of on the, on the profits on the ones.
And the demand, sure. Yeah.
And every single month, we want to, so like that, we can see how much food progress we probably bring every single month.
Really good. Okay. That's all my questions. Okay. Thank you. We'll bring you back in and after we present to the 4th, I think the board wants to discuss amongst themselves.
Yeah. You're done.
On the low side. I know we're talking about the cost of the liquor license, and then I go back to the innovative proposal and look at what the conservative estimation is, and that would more than cover the cost of us owning our liquor license. And, I go back to, I think it's better for us to have it than to depend on a vendor to have it, because that brings value, although Irma is just an angel.
So we asked Joe, would there be any possibility, I know you know the vendors here, but if we went with Solterra, is there a possibility to present an offer to Irma to give you on?
I believe that.
Yeah, that's her own company.
No.
But
But it's, yes, the company, if we go with Artemis, will have no business. Tomorrow.
That's a question I've, put at the bottom, not something that we're opposed to. Again, so it's not, it's an artist community, right, that just said that, so.
Okay.
We're absolutely.
So my concern with the revenue share, like she said, also the fact that she was bringing business. We're talking about a huge investment. She has to stock that bar. She has to staff it with the labor. This is the great labor intensive community, but during this time of year, they're trying to go with the brand new company. She was great when she was here. Her demeanor, her personality, she was shining star. But as far as the business, we've had issues in the past with the operations of the cafe that we haven't been so thrilled with as far as timing and stuff. You own the business, he owns the business. It's easy for us to give away someone else's money. We don't want something wrong. It's easy for us to go, oh, here's the bucket here, it's not my money. Now, if it's in her pocket, is she gonna be willing, I'm not saying she won't be, but is she gonna be willing to say, hey, you know, let's fix this on behalf of the town versus if we the CDD thing, or our vision maintenance. Has that authorization to do that, I comes in and says, you know, we felt short here. I want to make this right, I need to do a bucket there, and, you know, a cocktail to make it right, and kind of fix the distribution, right, and we walk away with 5-star review versus, you know, Herman may or may not say, hey, or any of our vendors, may not say, hey, I'll help you guys out with this bucket there. They might come and say, hey, if you want to do that, you can get all $20.
Yeah.
Okay. And right now, we're not making any money. That money that we do get from them, we're not profiting any of that. That goes to gas, that goes to electric, everything needs to upgrade. We figure the future. So we're not.
According to this,
Zero profit at the time.
there's some,
That profit,
could potentially be 18,
so far, nine.
283.
Water, and that increase the actually, they get all.
Right.
They don't get certain number, the BT ball.
That's why I didn't know, but then
So, yeah, we have
there's this
that chance of, you know, we might be
for
up
open
for
market.
5 years.
That would be.
But in 5 years, I've lost something for 4 hours. It's not very common occurrence.
Okay. But we could essentially ask Bob too and say, hey, you know, this person's been, you know, a valuable steward to the community. You know, while she's starting her own business up, you know, there's something brought in here, it's not supporting both initiatives at the same time, so that she has a backstop in case there were ever anything going on, and she could additionally work for as well. So I would probably ask them and say, what are you prepared to do with that? Because obviously that would kind of marry to perfect solutions potentially, so.
I agree. I thought of it too. I'm like, maybe she could work under Artemis if you wanted to go that route, if she wanted to, of course. Well, it sounds like, I mean, you know, from the hospitality's perspective, from the service perspective, at the end of the day, what sells food is good food and good service. So
You can feel it. She walks into a room and you absolutely get the energy. And that's such a hard thing to find,
yes,
hard thing to bring. And even though I'm new on this incarnation board, I've been on the board for a long time, and I can tell you that, wow, you know, and I see the change that she has made. And it's invaluable. I mean,
it is invaluable.
It's remarkable, and if we can marry the two, that would be really.
Yeah, yes, we do have one more. Last vendor looks like he's providing you some goodies, so hope you guys are hungry. Yes, yes. Thanks, Bobby. Did you go by Bobby?
Yeah, that's very.
Bobby. That's super encouraging. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Hey,
I'll take a second.
yeah, do further research. I'll probably get this too.
We can wait outside, and, you know, start rethinking everything. I like this a little bit.
Oh, it's good, that we have their own voice and their own chance to talk without being pressured by stuff.
No, absolutely. So we hope you guys are a little bit, I know you guys can be. Process.
I don't know.
I'm so hungry. We got to stop. So we're just gonna pass out, just our little, snapshot brochure on ourselves here, so you guys have it on the end of the very line. We trust that you guys have our proposal already.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, like, wow.
Well, thank you guys. So. Take it. Well, good afternoon, you guys. How are you? Thank you guys for the opportunity. We're excited to be here for you guys. So my name is George Silver. This is Mariah Norris. We're the owners and operators of Hospitality Capital Management and TPF&B LLC and Vineyards Bar and Grill. That's actually currently at the Toscana Resort, right down the road in Champaign State. That's great. So we're very excited for this opportunity as it does fall in line because we are looking for a new home for our food and beverage operation. So we're very grateful for the opportunity to
be here with you guys. So we'll go through a little bit of the proposal. I know you guys have had time to go through it, but we will go through it step by step. And then once we get to a certain point, we'll bring some food into you guys to be able to taste. Right now, we've kind of gotten one through from Joe and the artist team, right now, the current operations of the cafe. So what we'd be proposing is 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 11 to 8 p.m. And then also discuss the opportunities for earlier or later service depending on any events, holidays, menu items, et cetera.
Oh, that's cool. Look at this.
So between ourselves, we have over 20 years of experience in the hospitality industry. We've worked for many
Pretty cool.
hospitality management companies throughout the state of Florida, and in Arizona as well. So we have come from a big company, actually the one that Bob used to work together at one of them. So I've been a food and beverage director, club operations director, and then Brian was lifestyle director as well for the company. And then we had the opportunity to branch off and make our own gang, and here we are. So yeah, we have the opportunity and the experience to cater for up to hundreds of guests, and have the experience for lifestyle events, food and beverage operations. As we manage and operate full club operations and food and beverage operations throughout our portfolio right. We do know that we spoke to Joe about the opportunities you guys are looking for mobile applications for running around the community. Something that we are extremely capable of doing throughout our systems, or the mobile pool ordering for the cabanas and as well throughout the communities as well. Something that we've indicated at all of our other operations for cabana service, pool service, and festivals, and inside of the clubhouses. We also spoke with Joe that you guys are looking to do delivery within the community possibility in the future, which is something that we are extremely interested in doing, something we're very capable of doing. We understand that there is, much as yourselves, a permanent presence here in the community that, will look for other options to have delivery services. So, very capable, excited to explore those options for golf cart delivery to the houses. Especially expand if anybody that was guests staying here want to do their service in the community, obviously, those retails can work out. How the river comes down for that. Right now for full deliveries, we see that there's enormous potential here for the clubhouse and the food and beverage operation for around the pool to get much more activity and much more opportunity for guests and residents to get food, get drinks, and have more options available to them. So right now, we see that the cabanas are around the facility, so we'd be implementing the QR codes in all of the cabanas to have a dedicated server at all times, 7 days a week on those cabanas that people are renting out, because people are renting them. You want that extra touch. And then as well as having somebody within the peak times to handle all that and, work with getting together for the cabanas. So, and then also with that, sundry sales, I know that's a big thing here too. People come to get the towel, goggles, sunscreen, we'll have all that thing with them to purchase at the cafe. So brand towels, branded koozies, sunscreen, all the stuff that people need. Forget back at the house. In both behind. So we do know that in the RFP and that you guys had sent through, that we took a look over that there was talking about operating expenses and funding plan. So currently, coming on board, we would fund everything for our current operations, the working capital that we have, do our business and all of our other operations, and then work with any new projects here. Well, the revenue that's provided from the cafe. So excited for that opportunity for that, labor and schedule and staffing. So with 7 days a week, obviously we would take a look at the operation as a whole, which we kind of have and took a lot of mental notes when we were here touring the facility with Jeff. Saw there's a lot of opportunities to really hone in on that labor, which obviously is you're running a food and beverage operation or club operation, you guys know, that's your biggest cost right there. So take a look at that and looking down at the numbers, we can really hone in on getting that staff scheduling and coordinating a lot better. So we're looking at 3 to 4 full-time team members here at all times. So And obviously with ourselves, whatever new operation project that we come on board with, Ryan are extremely hands-on for the first few months, making sure that everything is worked through, everything's complete, and that no stone is unturned, making sure that the operation is seamless. So any operation, any club that we come and take over, operate, we are extremely hands-on to get that taken care of.
The employees, yeah. We like to learn firsthand what we are needs.
Yep. So move on here. So we have a proposed menu, which I know we've sent over within it. Little snapshot of just stuff that we've done as all of our other projects. And currently at Tuscana, to see that come to a resort like this, you want to have the general resort style food, but with an elevated level to it. So that's what we would essentially be bringing to the beautiful facility here. Our options like this. So this is a watermelon and a salad. With citrus vinaigrette. Is that one on your menu? This first one? No, this is not. So these are all samples that we put together that we would be implementing onto the menu. So we are big within our menus to do seasonal menus. So nothing stays the same. Every single quarter, we change all of our menus out of tiki bars, clubhouses.
Wow, thank you so much.
And in conjunction with those, we do change them with special menus, for holidays, summer, winter, fall.
Thank you.
So. Yeah. So, if, we took a look at the pricing currently, what we have at the cafe here. We do see that there is opportunity for several things to pull some more profit out of that. Obviously, we do better, you guys do better as well, which is obviously the big factor of why we're all here right now. So when it comes down to cost and all these, there is a lot of opportunity, like I said, on the menu currently to really give a really upscale feel, an elevated feel to the food that's being served to the guest classes, which is something that we are huge on. The eyes always eat first, so we always want to make sure that everything eats first, standards. Right now, we understand that there is a 20% discount for residents, so that's something that we would obviously keep implementing. I understand from Joe that there's an ID card, identification card from the homeowner, so which is something we currently do as well at the restaurant for all the residents that stay there, that come there all full. Cool, perfect, yeah, awesome. So those would be, 20% discount on all food and beverage items that we would sell out of the cafe. And obviously the automatic 18% gratuity that is already implemented at the cafe, which of course we are able to, with our current staffing and operations. So the maintenance and sanitation policies, we, every single day, every single week, obviously standards to the food and beverage operations for sanitation and keep those standards in place at all times. We are very big on keeping the appearances of the operations behind the scenes. Obviously, with an open air kitchen concept like this, everybody sees everything. You're always on display, so everything needs to be attention to detail. So something that we are very, very good on doing. Cost sharing model. So we going through the RFP, we saw that there's some opportunity there for the question for the maintenance, the repair, equipment purchases. So minor equipment maintenance would be, we saw that there's a pizza oven right there. That's minor. Soda machines, stuff like that, slushing machines. So that's all minor equipment under $500. That would be on us. We would be covering that. Major equipment repairs, oven, burner stove, fridge, freezer, over $500, we would share that cost with you guys to repair. New equipment purchases, so that is if the fridge, freezer, reaching coolers, anything that is here that is owned by you guys, and get new equipment in there. You guys are funding the new equipment, but we would be keeping up with the upkeep and the repairs on this new equipment. So we would be, it's in our best interest to keep it up. Minimum monthly rent for the cafe, we are proposing $1,400 inclusive of utilities. And then also we wanted to put this in here as an incentive for you guys as well. $40,000 to $59,000 quarterly. That's an additional $750 to the community. And then $60,000 above, additional $1,200 to the district quarterly, that would go in concurrent with the 6% quarterly profit share on the bottom line, which would be, our accountant who is involved, obviously, all of our operations, she'd be sending those to you guys. So we have a snapshot of some report. Yes, ma'am.
Is that, those numbers, gross revenue or net revenue?
Net revenue. So those would be the bottom line net profit. Along with, overview experience, went over them. And we also have over 40 years of experience backing us with our consulting chef, Albert. So,
You're sure to get you back.
Yeah, I think that we're probably gonna have to like make this like a decision that takes place over like the next 6 months. And so. Month you need to come back.
You know what? And you'll see as we go along, this is not the healthier version. So it's not the healthier version. We have some things that are like, if you see out here, you can see the people eating pizza and they're eating salad. So it's the same thing, but we try to offer a little bit healthier version of things. Quicker, easier, like Jordan was saying. You want to make it simple and fresh. Watermelon salad, there's something more simple than watermelon salad. It's summertime, it's hot. You got a little bit of fresh basil in there, you got some fresh mint in there that kind of blends everything all together. You have a little bit of, we took the oil that we roasted, the garlic, because there's a little bit of garlic in there. We took the oil that we had with the roasted garlic and steamed it with the basil. So, and then add a little jalapeno, so you have a little kick to it there. So that's a lot of little things that you'll see. And with the food that's coming as well.
This is, I can see that this is like you said, I love that phrase, your eyes eat first, because it's beautifully presented.
And also with these salads, you can put any protein on, chicken, shrimp, so. Yeah.
And then my mouth is like, wow.
And then when you have those, you look for the taste, the texture, the crunch, the spiciness, the little bite, the surprise, because I've known as in my family is like the crazy one. And basically, it's like you always have that little craziness somewhere in the dish.
Well, he brings the crazy on. Also, you know, like a lot of people my age, I have a lot of diet-related health issues. And I can look at this and it's a feast for my eyes. I taste it and it's like, wow. And then I also have the solace of knowing that, you know what? It's not putting anything in my body that's gonna negatively impact me. There's not gonna be any leaky gut syndrome coming from what I'm eating right now. This is just a beautiful thing all of the way around.
I've worked at very close and mostly high-end hotels for around the area here. Gentleman named Richard Kessler, which I used to run the evening downtown in Orlando.
Oh my gosh, I
I used to run I was the executive chef at the Pac-Man downtown in Fort Lauderdale.
Another favorite.
So, and I work with Hilton, now I'm consulting with them as well as a company called Costa. I've been doing this for about 40 years. So food, we go in, when we present something, we go through, we make sure kind of everybody's on board with things. We make sure that everything's there, the freshness of the item, the longevity, seeing that it's an outside kitchen, and then everything, the durability, and then also listening to what the members are saying, or kind of what they like to eat as well, especially for ones that are repeats. And then you also look at seasonal things, because not everything is fresh all the time, so you have to change it up as well. So that was something that you would look at at one time, it changes up as well.
The carrot real most healthy for me. My name is Style Meal. I'm a former cop.
And I got a Reebok Spider that's out there with apple bacon and everything else. So, and you got
There it is.
cheeses that are in there. So there you go.
Yeah.
This is easier, because, you know, honestly, I'm gonna be like really transparent here. And I can't help myself from being that way, but you know, we're going through, okay, yeah, there's another proposal, and oh, this one has this, and that's interesting, and that's great, okay, and then this one has that. person, that's really brilliant and everything else.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting here like, okay, yeah, here's the numbers and here's the deal and everything else, and then this lands in my mouth.
And the funny thing is,
Wow.
when you say this, these two, I know, 'cause he's my son. Oh, you know, he's my son. So we worked together before for 10 years. And he knows exactly, he's good at what he does on the front side and his mouth and getting things going like this. He's phenomenal. So this part, he's great, but the other part where he's good is out there. And that's what we always did well together, because he's front and has a beautiful mouth at the front and get everything fantastic, and then I'm in the back. So it's the father, kind of like father-in-law.
You married well.
Good for you.
That's all I can say. I mean, this is just like, wow, I mean, this levels everything up.
That loves it.
This is actually the opportunity for us to be able to speak to you guys. Actually came, couldn't have come in at the perfect time because we did decide to, this is actually our last weekend over at the Vineyards at Toscana Resort, just because we were there for a year and a half. We put everything into it. It's just point and see the business levels over there. It's tucked away, so it's just a little bit harder to, get the people there, the guests can be here, but that's over there. A little bit more to that. Thank you, Bob.
Bob, that's what I'm talking about. The little collaboration. That's funny. Thank you. Are you gonna pass? Yeah, no, totally get that. My wife is allergic to fruit.
Bob's getting. As far as that.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, she has allergies.
Red food dye.
Was it?
Red food dye.
I thought you said.
I took my teeth.
Red food dye.
Red.
Watermelon.
If I don't know, I don't need it.
It's red peppers. But that's fine.
Yours. Interesting.
It's a simple house, but it really, makes a.
But I-
Yeah, right?
Those things that I've saved, and that's all gonna change. Wow.
So with all of our operations as well, we are very heavy, and I know you guys already have an amazing lifestyle team here, putting on events. I'll let Mariah say a little bit about.
Yeah, lifestyle is a huge part of this. We do it at our other properties. It's really just a large passion and both of our lives. And of course, you guys have Artemis, which that we can see does an amazing job with their lifestyle. It really is implemented here. We can tell that you guys are passionate in your property, which is also amazing. But it's a big passion for us as well. And we feel like, you do have Artemis, we do have a huge opportunity here to work cohesively with your lifestyle. Because just like with the food in front of you, we are visual, we are creative, we're passionate, and any event that we put on, we would want to work cohesively with and really take your events to the next level. And we feel that we have a great opportunity to do so here. So that is definitely one of the main drives, honestly, for me, because I feel like there's some communities that just lifestyle just isn't there, or it's not as much as right, but that is what brings people here, even past, normal pool hours. It's what's bringing people here, movie nights, and people are staying because things are going on, and that's going to be a huge factor for the restaurants as well. So we definitely are very passionate about that, and I would love that.
All three of our that we have right now are actually all previously Artemis properties. So we have a really good working relationship right now with Artemis. So at Emerald Island Resort, those are Artemis properties. Currently Leland, so we work with them. Solana Resort, which is our full service clubhouse, we manage all the amenities, staff that property, tiki bar there as well. That is now Breeze, one of the Artemis before, and now at Toscana, which is currently Artemis Rental. So we have a great relationship with Artemis, obviously with Bob, who's bringing them good. So, like I said, the opportunity to work with you guys, and what we hear, you guys are extremely, as we can see, you guys are extremely hands-on work, and we'd love to work with board.
I'll take it.
That are really
Thanks, Bob.
As we guys see that. Because, we're successful, you guys are successful, we want you guys to be able to be proud of the property that you guys are, that you guys are, you know, spending your time.
Joe, you gotta make a note, you asked me what to bring for the lunch. From here onwards.
I know.
The bar's been set high, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small, how do you get this? Very small ones.
Yeah, 200,
Few times.
okay, yeah, 289 units over there. So the restaurant is open to the public. Hopefully it's a little tough for the public because the parking is the situation. Right now,
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
there's not this, not the checking process, there's not the, how can we help you, you know, there's not that person over there. Yeah. Right, so that's also a big factor, you know, guys, and that's what we wanted to work with.
Meredith, I don't know how you feel about burgers, but that's,
I feel very positive.
they're really good.
Everything.
There's one behind your computer.
I'm big on pages, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Then we have all the private communities.
No, I hear you.
For the restaurant.
Looks like bacon.
Both that.
Some jalapenos.
Monthly karaoke, live music with bands and features. You know, you guys do this for the.
Have you got the numbers from the beginning management?
Yes. So the numbers from what we had seen from last quarter. So everything seemed to be pretty in line. There was a lot of things that were questionable that we had noticed with the expenses and the personnel. That P&L was pretty big. So I'm assuming you guys are kind of same line with that.
I didn't really see that.
So personnel, there is very high in labor from what we can see.
Right.
Which is why, you know, again, labor is the biggest factor. You have a food and beverage operation. And with the expenses, we are assuming that the expenses are food, beverage, all lumped in together. Beer, liquor, wine, and all the paper goods, food, obviously, which should be all behind the house, so you can see really what you're calling down to. The expenses are through the roof.
So in terms of the average, how much percentage are you for lunch expenses and maintenance?
Monthly. In which way?
Monthly quarterly.
Expenses, you know, at the peak month, which is March, which you're looking at, that's in the middle of spring break. The numbers seem pretty in line with that at the gross revenue, but when you're looking at the expenses, $70,000 is astronomical compared to any operation or, especially.
We don't know what the miscellaneous line either, so.
Right, that miscellaneous line is in line. So expenses overall, we're gonna assume that that is food, beer, liquor, wine, paper goods, all straws, napkins, all that. That number should be at least 20.
Hmm.
You know, on high end, 25. When you're out of season, so January is ramping up into the spring break season. And 10 to 15, just depending on, you know, what events going on. But staffing wise, you know, if we do it right, we staff it accordingly, especially if we're here hands-on with everything, the labor number should increase in it. Thank you. Absolutely.
No question.
All right, how do we feel about the taco slide?
Taco.
So the taco is basically like a little lime vinaigrette with, little garlic chips that were inside there and fresh basil. And then you had the shrimp, and then you had like a little roasted red pepper, ricotta. Pepper, which is like a Peruvian pepper, and we take it, we made it, and we pureed it together. Everything's very easy to get, very simple. Basically, when you're thinking of something like this, you're thinking 2 people, maybe 3 people behind the line that could cook this with no issues at all. It's all about preparation, and then the execution. I mean, to be honest, you do pretty much anybody can do that when you have it in front of you. Mix both, and it's very, very simple. The sauce for the cheese, you can put it in a hot sauce or like a hot chocolate, like you would do for like a sundae, just one pump and it's out the door. Very streamlined, very, very simple things to do, that you can do numbers.
Big thing with all of our menus is that cross utilization is a massive factor. So everything that you have in front of you can be cross utilized in any variation with any other menu item as well. You have quesadillas, you have shrimp, steak, you know, chicken, any of that can be cross utilized as well. That's a big thing that's going to drive the cost factor down. So you have more approved product on that. As well as when we were here touring, obviously now we do see that there is a lot of room for improvement for different outlets to get another revenue flowing. We do see that that line does get bottlenecked quite a bit. We are still kind of understanding why it is closed down in the middle because there should be two separate lines. I know you guys wouldn't want to get stuck behind a family of six when you want to bottle of water. So there should be two different lines there for ordering food and drinks for one, ordering right there for someone, the cashier. And then down at the other end of the bar, there needs to be a walk-up service bar as well with bar seating. So, you know, you have two different ways to tackle that as well.
You've already put in the press.
Yeah.
And nowadays, that's the biggest thing, right? It saves time. We have a company that I work with right now. We're trying to work things out, but it's saving so much time and so much money in different areas.
Right. And again, even with the QR code ordering, you know, they said, well, they'll be implementing all the banners, they're all known, which is perfect. So that word comes through on the BOS system, brings it right out, bring it right out, no matter if it's a bottle of water or it's family beer. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And you have like a,
It's good. I'm telling you.
it's a basic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ground your vitamin, fresh pine and coffee's inside and the bacon jam, little lemon juice, really simple stuff, but stuff that you can be made, you know, warmed up.
So I think that's what we're looking forward to do. Also,
No, it's not. But
you get the product from them, but what you make of it is really
correct. And that's when you can sit there and you can leave it, set it, set it, forget it. So basically that whole little thing that you can fit, all you gotta do is
Yes.
down.
I think a bite is worth the risk.
And that's it. And is Cheney Brothers a good place? Yeah, I know Byron, which used to be the owner of the entire company. We used to go fishing right down the street because it was right down the street from where I used to work at Franklin Creek down in Palm Beach. Super nice guy. He gets in great products, but then there's just like everything else. There's different things for different, everybody, for, you know, different styles of food, I guess you would say.
So that's what we're looking to do too. We have a traditional hamburger on the menu, but that's, you know, it's not fun. You know, so we really want to do some, you know, sliders as these different variations of it. So, you know, there's different options for everybody else to go through, you know.
If for a week, it's good, well, do that, and time share, where I'm going to chill, and then it's very vast, right? That is healthy though, right? It's more quick, this is much more healthy, cleaner.
You know, large menus, you know, if you have 10, 12, 15 items that you do really well, change them up, you know, you hear the feedback on it, and, you know, that's what really matters. You know, we're huge on feedback, we want to hear your guys' feedback on a menu, what you guys would like to see, and that, you know, it's huge for us to be able to work with you guys.
This is restaurant type of food that I would feel to go to.
And then one thing also, go ahead.
Yeah, so you have that's the chicken wrap, which is the lavash on the outside. You get a little bit of flaxseed that's inside there, and then chopped up chicken.
It's delicious stuff.
Marinated with citrus overnight. And then, just the avocado mayonnaise.
They got it.
Really simple.
Best first meeting I've ever had.
One of the big things too also is.
What do you do?
I actually.
I don't envy you guys for your decision, I really don't.
Yeah.
It's standard.
One. How do we do that?
It's a lot leaner than regular bacon. It's a lot better for you in a sense, I guess you would say. And it has a lot more flavor, a lot more flavor. Here, that's where.
One of the big things too is obviously there's kids, and what do kids want? They just want the cool stuff that, you know, to get, you know, the parents to buy them. So with all the kids menu items, they would be in the bottle that have, you know, items on it. So, you know, have chicken tenders, fries, onion rings that are all being here for the kids. We also cross-utilize these for drinks, or rum bucket, frozen drink, and then also hurricane cup, which we know are here is ready already. But obviously they're all for people to keep. So once we order it, you know, you can have come up and get a drink. Yeah, or you can brand anything.
Oh, wow.
Good question.
Yeah.
If somebody has
dietary restrictions, they can't eat pork
Right.
or,
No problem.
or kosher.
Yeah, so we know that there's a big kosher presence as well, and so we're able to get all this.
The whole kitchen.
So the food that you're serving it, just needs to be cooked, as long as you're getting it in. The kitchen, as long as it's already prepared, that it's cooked,
Right,
that's fine.
okay.
Yeah, you're not preparing that food in the kitchen. That's when the kitchen needs to be cooked.
We don't have guests that are halal.
Yes,
I believe it's not that it's kosher, but it is halal. I might be.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but if you're making kosher food from scratch, that's when the kitchen needs to be.
You have, I worked in the Jewish Country Club for 10 years. So we had on certain events, we actually had to shut the kitchen down and bring in a whole nother kitchen from a mobile kitchen and do it that way because it was so much a challenge to do. And once we got everything, it was less, everything else we, usually by their specific religion that they follow. So it's not too bad.
Oh,
Very
thanks,
good.
guys.
But then the other question is, what about somebody who can't take spicy food or something like that? Do you have the ability, like you're talking about?
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff comes out of the crock pot made in advance. We have the ability to, pardon the term, but dump it down.
So everything's prepared fresh, there's obviously things like chicken fingers and fries, and stuff like that, that's frozen, for the kids. But, everything else is made from scratch, so any ingredient that needs to be taken out, if we're not able to, that one specific item isn't, we can make it fresh without any spice and take out any dietary restrictions. If anybody's celiac, you're able to do that as well, gluten-free, so, that's the big thing for us.
Like when you had the taco, it was a spicy sauce that goes on top.
It's most of
You don't put it on, it's a finished eye. You can have different selections, different choices. If you have tacos, then you start to see where it starts. I used to watch the garbage cans. When I was the chef at one of the places, so I'm trying to figure out where money was going. So I'm reading the garbage can. I'm seeing 90% bread. I'm seeing something else. And then I'm seeing all of a sudden sauces there. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And we tried it. We thought it was good, but it was just the preference that people didn't care for. So you just learn how to change and adapt. Once you changed it, made it a little bit sweeter and had a little bit more dip on another side, it was fun.
Nice.
I'm just gonna throw this up in broccoli crust. Just
Broccoli, that's okay. Broccoli? How
Yeah,
about cauliflower? I haven't heard of broccoli.
yeah, if somebody has issues with gout, not me, but if somebody has, somebody, they can't have cauliflower.
Okay.
Really, they can have broccoli, there's a place in Lebanon, California, called Pizza Hut, and they make one with broccoli. Broccoli and parm, it's broccoli and parm, and then, and basil and everything, it's like.
I wonder what you use to mix them together. It has to be.
I think the parm is what holds it together.
Board, any other questions for the vendor before we discuss? Yes, great presentation, guys. Thank you. Phenomenal food.
Thank you for your time, all right, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right,
All right, now what?
let's review your options, board. What are we thinking
Yeah, I think that we keep doing this for the next.
for the next couple months? Get a nice ride.
Save the money on the breakfast.
Excellent, and that thing was, this, kind of, maybe only have one.
What is it?
And I think that's the part of this proposal for the model that gives us the control and the greatest opportunity for. I don't know.
I really like that model, but I think, like I stated before, we should table it till next meeting to really look into the aspects of the liquor license, everything else. I think ultimately that's where we'll end up. But my feeling is we need a little more information to make sure we're aligned legally and to cover what we're gonna do and we're gonna start jumping into something that we really, big 9 years.
Okay, real quick, Meredith, does that sound like a good idea for you, of tabling it for 30 days, we want to explore the viability of. What kind of goal is that, enough time?
30 days
Yeah.
to get you all, I mean, I would defer to staff to get you your values for licenses and tell you that process. I've done some preliminary research. I also looked at my other districts that have their own liquor licenses and under $2,000 a year. So I'm not sure where that 500,000, 100,000.
For us,
The district to hold it. And also-
right,
because I pulled their budget and their entire license budget is like $5,000.
And is that the renewal fee or the initial?
And again, I don't know the exact answer. I think I do, but it's not my area of expertise. Your current lease has a 60-day termination provision. It's,
So, but yeah, everyone comfortable documents, everyone signing the jokes for, around we done.
Real quick, Sam, you want to say any thoughts?
Definitely would, set it out. However, let's look at the numbers, two things that we got to look at let's take the last quarter, like, numbers from the real manage, and then have an idea of what is the revenue point where the expenses are going. The PL we got to look at the PL, I don't have that, actually. So maybe we look at it and also get a little bit more clarity on the license fee as well. So this is the both in.
and overall expenses, yeah.
$1,000 for a liquor license. So that Bob gave us based on conservative numbers, because each one of these vendors admittedly said that they had great trouble interpreting the real managed numbers. Even if we took $100,000 out of that first one.
Motion to terminate the current contract with Real Name to engage Artemis Lifestyles for cabinet management with 60-day notice.
All right, Bobby, way to go.
Motion from Bobby,
And I'll second it.
have a second from Karen, all in favor?
It was Debbie.
Debbie, sorry, flipped you, okay, Debbie. All in favor, everybody voted, opposed? Motion carries, terminate, so I will work with district council on terminating.
the very nice part of that is 60 days from today is September 30th, which is the end of your fiscal year. So it'll be October 1, start of your fiscal year. I just double checked.
That's enough, and that's enough time for you feel comfortable with that?
And Chairman, in the future, we yell at some of these poor people have not taken that. So if he could be out there, if it's not, I don't know what this guy does. Vicky could be out there, if it's out there, the friend with consent, picking there, I'm sure that's mine.
Yeah. So let's, do you want to invite them back in or let them know? Okay. Yes. Generally, you're not gonna be proposing this whole presentation to. All right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You guys, there's been a lot going on recently. There's been a lot of presentation. Yes.